Welcome to Senpai, your new home for immersive manga, manhwa, anime-inspired novels, and fantasy audiobook stories. Here, every episode brings you into a world of overpowered heroes, revenge arcs, cultivation journeys, virtual reality games, monsters, magic, and emotional character moments. Whether you enjoy dark fantasy, action, reincarnation, system stories, or epic adventure novels, Senpai is here to turn every chapter into a cinematic listening experience. So relax, put on your headphones, and let the story begin. Subscribe to Senpai and join the journey.
In the Challenger system, he created perfectly countered this aspect. After a player dies, the flesh, material, and energy that constitute the body will be extracted by the superdimension that master the all things extraction rule, and then reshaped in Imperial Tomb Village through the power of space of Yenming. No matter how many players the evil spirit kills, it can't extract even a bit of growth energy. But the evil spirits killed by the players become the nutrients for the player's growth. In the first collision between the player's natural disaster and the Black Tides, the players proved through practice that his initial setup was completely feasible. As the players switched on their unparalleled grass-cutting mode, Qi Sheng saw the sacrificial power earnings in his eyes growing rapidly. Giving the players 10% more feedback didn't reduce his earnings at all. On the contrary, his time-split earnings have multiplied. The players kill to their content. He earns to his fill. The Black Tide army led by the Earth-thought evil spirit might strut its stuff in other low-intensity areas. After all, the creatures in those areas, facing the rampaging evil spirits, will eventually exhaust their strength, and once they fall, they become nutrient for the Black Tide to grow itself. And the evil spirits bred by the Black Tide will rejoin the Black Tide as energy that constituted their life forms upon death, with very low loss, and can soon regroup to form new evil life, endlessly killable. But the two terrifying traits of the Black Tide pose no threat in front of the player core. When a player dies, Qi Sheng's loss of earnings is zero, and when a player kills an evil spirit, they extract the dead evil spirit's energy, convert it into evolution points and sacrificial power, and merge it into the player's body. In battle, the players become stronger while the strength of the Black Tide is continuously being sapped. The Black Tide's natural disaster, which is utterly terrifying in the eyes of other forces, is in Qi Sheng's view, completely a nutrient for the player's growth. The Black Tide is still rampaging, and in less than 1 hour, the number of players online has dropped by half, and the remaining players have all entered a state of exhaustion, with depleted Qi blood or exhausted spiritual power. But Qi Sheng doesn't care at all. Even if the Black Tide sweeps across the entire Emperor Tomb mountain range, it cannot affect Imperial Tomb Village that stand apart from the world's barriers. In the battle against the Black Tide, the player core will eventually achieve the final victory through a process of attrition. Just as Qi Sheng was joyous over the surge in earnings, the Earth-thought evil spirit atop the Evil Eye Tower had already sensed that something was amiss. Evil Eye, why can't these mysterious creatures be decomposed and absorbed by the Black Tide after death? And why can't the evil beings bred by the Black Tide rejoin it when killed by these mysterious creatures? Faced with the inquiry, the Evil Eye floating above its head remained silent for a long time before speaking. I can't find any information on this race from the information shared with me by the other nodes. I can't determine the specific cause. Maybe you could try to capture one and bring it back, and I can use memory reading to find the reason. Good. The Earth-thought evil spirit nodded immediately, then began to control the Black Tide to take action. Near Stormwave Lagoon. I can't kill anymore. I'm so tired my legs are trembling. How about you? Zofeng said, and turned his head to look at his teammates. But where were the teammates to be found? The sight of rampaging evil spirits completely obscured them. Calling up the squad voice channel, he resolved the confusion in his mind. The squad voice channel showed that all his teammates had entered the death cooldown, which is why he never heard their voices, calling for them but receiving no response. Glancing at his sacrificial power balance, he found that, unbeknownst to him, he had actually earned more than 200 points of sacrificial power gain. Awesome. Facing the evil spirits attacking from all directions, Zofeng gripped the shattering blade in his hands, determined to kill as many evil lives as possible before entering his death cooldown. In the midst of battle, Zofeng couldn't help but marvel at the game's realism. The muscle soreness and even thirst that came with continuous combat were all too real sensory feedback that affected his combat ability, not just the changing numbers on his health bar. Soon after, Zofeng fought until he was exhausted, collapsing on the ground, gasping for air, letting his body be submerged by the evil lives. No strength left, logging off. But to Zofeng's surprise, the evil lives did not gnaw at his body. Instead, the nearby evil spirits lifted him up and moved rapidly towards the depths of the Black Tide, with all the encountered evil lives actively avoiding him, clearing a path for him. Where's this going? Xiaofeng was instantly confused. Too exhausted to struggle and not wanting to know the reason, he immediately called up the function panel to try to log off. However, due to the severe jolting, the teleportation array could not be generated within Zofeng's player body, with every attempt to start the array being disrupted, and a game prompt sounded in his mind. Challenger tips. You are in a state of severe jolting and cannot initiate log-off teleportation. Forget it. Realizing he could not log off directly, Zofeng simply lay on the evil spirit and started browsing the forums for news. Holy shit, a black armored snake over 10 meters long, Monster Stream, is this fierce? Watching a video clip on a popular post, Zhou Feng couldn't help exclaiming. In the footage, the huge black armored snake rampaged through the evil spirit horde, with each roll or swing of its tail killing a swath of evil lives. As time passed, Zhou Feng logged out of the forum to check on his situation and found himself still moving forward amidst the jolting. Having recovered some physical strength, he didn't rush to take action, choosing instead to continue lying on the evil spirit. The reason he didn't resist was that he felt he might have triggered some hidden task, and this unknown journey might bring him substantial rewards. Already, many players had proven that opportunities abound in the monster world. For instance, there was a player who accidentally picked up a machine and made a fortune of 38,000 sacrificial power points. When he saw the post, his eyes turned red with envy, cursing his luck that it wasn't him who encountered such fortune. This unexpected encounter could just be such an opportunity. Feeling bored, he continued to browse forum news to pass the time, occasionally exclaiming at the spectacular performance of a player fighting against an evil spirit. After an unknown amount of time, the jolting feeling suddenly ceased. A lifting force emerged from below, propelling him rapidly upward. Exiting the forum function, Zhou Feng was flung by the evil spirit onto a tower platform, landing hard on the solid black stone slab with a grunt. Looking up, he was startled by the fierce-looking earth thought evil spirit in front of him. Through analyzing the information, he was surprised to find that this was the very evil spirit warrior who had given the god of wealth a beating. He had also participated in that battle, and if it hadn't been for their desperate resistance, the god of wealth would have had his 7 days over. While he was puzzled about his situation, several black tentacles shot out from the giant eye on top of the earth thought evil spirit's head, connecting with his skull, and 2 of them pierced into his temples, bringing intense pain. What followed was a strong, dizzying sensation, feeling the world spinning around him, his vision becoming blurry. Evil Eye's tentacles pierced into the temple, and Zhou Feng's consciousness gradually became blurred. During this time, black tide energy continuously infiltrated the brain, attempting to occupy the sea of consciousness and search for memory information. However, Evil Eye's actions inadvertently triggered the taboo of the Challenger system. The purification system, created by Jiuyin, activated at this moment, swiftly clearing the black tide energy that had seeped into Zhou Feng's brain. The purification system is one of the 4 core subsystems within the Challenger system, no less important than the data system created by Guidance, the spatial conduit system created by Yan Ming, and the power of extracting all things crafted by Superdimension. The primary function of the purification system is to eliminate all negative states. For instance, if a player dies under the influence of curse power, this portion of the curse power will also be extracted by the power of extracting all things of Superdimension, and together with the decomposed blood and flesh materials of the player, they are sent back to the depths of Imperial Tomb Village for reshaping. Without the protection of the purification system, the negative states would persist even after resurrection. The purification system's role is to filter out negative energies, ensuring players are in a perfect state as they are reshaped and resurrected. Secondly, it ensures the mental health of the players. Death, despair, fear, and other emotions occurring frequently can lead to abnormal mental states for players, and excessive mental stimuli might even result in mental illness. For example, the emotions of hatred brought by taunt abilities, even if out of control, there would still be related memories left behind. The purification system can perfectly soothe the player's mental wounds, ensuring that with each resurrection, they are in an excellent state of mind. The act of Evil Eye invading the player's sea of consciousness has triggered the purification system's taboo, proactively started to clear a large amount of black tide energy that infiltrated Zhou Feng's sea of consciousness, quickly dispersing the energy and forming a purification shield within the sea of consciousness, protecting Zhou Feng's sea of consciousness from further corrosion by destructive forces. As time trickled by, realizing something was amiss, Evil Eye continued its attempts a few more times before suddenly losing strength, and the black tide energy that was still seeping into Zhou Feng's sea of consciousness receded like the tide. No good, I cannot access his memories. His sea of consciousness is protected by some unknown force, impenetrable. Evil Eye's thoughts resounded in the mind of Earth Thought, Evil Spirit. Earth Thought, Evil Spirit, who was waiting for an answer, slightly furrowed his brows upon hearing this, and with a raise of his hand, pulled Zhou Feng close, reaching out to clasp his neck, and decided to interrogate personally. His fierce eyes, scorching like charred coal, stared directly at Zhou Feng. A hoarse voice squeezed out from his throat. I'm going to ask you a few questions, answer me truthfully, and I can make your death very easy. Having regained his wits, Zhou Feng upon hearing this, still appeared somewhat dazed. Under the coercion of Earth Thought Evil Spirit, not only was there no trace of fear in his heart, but he also wondered why the hidden task had not been triggered. Could it be that the way to open it was wrong? Or perhaps dialogue was necessary to initiate the hidden task? With this thought, Zhou Feng immediately had an idea, looking at Earth Thought Evil Spirit, and said discontentedly, If you're going to ask, then ask, but first put me down. Ask nicely. I come to play a game, not to be mistreated. Earth Thought Evil Spirit. In Zhou Feng's eyes, he could not see any trace of fear, only a strong feeling of discontentment. At this moment, Earth Thought Evil Spirit released his grip on the throat, and Zhou Feng promptly landed on his feet. After shaking his limbs and stretching his waist to relax his body, Zofeng looked up at Earth Thought Evil Spirit with dissatisfaction. Go ahead, make it quick. I really want to skip the narrative and get straight to the task. I hate game narratives that can't be skipped. What game narrative? Hearing the murmur from Zofeng's mouth, Earth Thought Evil Spirit asked in a deep voice. It's none of your business, just ask. Suppressing the desire to slap the creature in front of him to death, Earth Thought Evil Spirit asked in a deep voice. Tell me about where you come from. Faced with the inquiry, Zofeng fell into thought. How to answer this question would clearly affect the unfolding of the hidden task. It would not be wise to directly state that he was a player, as it might lead to task failure. This had been verified before. He had seen a post by a player on the forum who had obtained the Heavenly Talisman battle skill, mentioning a layer of indescribable taboo regarding player identity. The reason was that the posting player found that there were censored words in what he said when communicating with the God of Wealth, resulting in a significant portion of content missing when heard by the God of Wealth. Many players on the forum had discussed this issue. It was widely believed to be a taboo set by the Darkland game, aimed at better role immersion, not to reveal the existence of another world, to avoid affecting the judgment of the game's intelligent NPCs. Therefore, how to answer this question would obviously require an explanation from the perspective of the game identity. Thinking this over, Zofeng gave an honest answer. We are warriors who believe in Emperor Zhao. Our purpose is to overthrow the Black Tide's destruction of this world and defeat the Black Tide, so as to restore light to this world. Zofeng's somewhat dramatic answer left both Earth Thought Evil Spirit and Evil Eye hovering above in silence. Looking at Zofeng's sincere face, Earth Thought Evil Spirit couldn't help but ask, do you know what Black Tide is? Of course, the destroyers invading this world. Do you know how strong the Black Tide force is? I'm not sure, perhaps very strong, but no matter, we will eventually overcome them. Zofeng's response left Earth Thought Evil Spirit utterly speechless. To Earth Thought Evil Spirit, this group of beings, though possessing some mystical rule power, seemed very weak and practically defenseless. But at this moment, he uttered wild words, intending to overthrow the Black Tide. Like an ant overestimating its own strength, attempting to influence the rotation of a planet with its own power, changing the laws of nature. However, the problem is, in Zofeng's eyes, what he saw was not arrogance and self-conceit, but confidence and pride. This mysterious confidence truly baffled the Earth Thought Evil Spirit and Evil Eye. Do you really think you could defeat the Black Tide just by yourselves? Nonsense. We are Emperor's Omen warriors, though we are weak now. Give me a year to grow, and I could chop 2 such 70-level evil spirits with one sword. My brother's black armored snake form could swallow a truck in one bite. Although he didn't understand the latter part of Zofeng's statement, he could hear the insult and confidence in Zofeng's words. Suppressing the rage in his heart, he continued to ask in a deep voice, where does the rule power you possess come from? Faced with the question, Zofeng couldn't help but scratch his head. Rule power? Are you talking about primordial traits? This power is bestowed by Emperor Zhao. Very useful. So what do you actually want? Hurry up, will you? Why, after you die, does the blood and energy that make up your body disappear? The patience of the Earth Thought Evil Spirit reached its limit as he asked a critical question. But this question stumped Zofeng. In his understanding, players disperse into a black mist upon death and respawn in Imperial Tomb Village after the resurrection cooldown ends. He simply didn't understand what Earth Thought Evil Spirit was talking about. What blood and energy disappearing? I didn't catch that. Can you explain it in more detail? You don't want to answer? Earth Thought Evil Spirit suddenly raised his hand, grabbed Zofeng by the neck again, and brought him closer, tightening his grip slowly. Zofeng immediately felt it hard to breathe, his face turning red. Damn it. Let go, I didn't come here to play games to take this crap. Earth Thought Evil Spirit didn't respond. The black mist released from his body quickly enveloped Zofeng. Where the black mist passed, Zofeng felt unbearable sharp pain, and he soon let out a deep scream. Hearing the scream, a smile appeared on the corner of Earth Thought Evil Spirit's mouth. At this moment, the Challenger system was activated again. Realizing that Zofeng was undergoing severe mental and physical torture, the Challenger system automatically adjusted Zofeng's pain perception from 10% to 0. The black mist enveloping Zofeng continued to surge, but the screams abruptly stopped. Feeling something was amiss, Earth Thought Evil Spirit immediately dispersed the black mist, only to see Zofeng looking confused. You don't feel pain? It hurt a lot before, but not anymore. This answer baffled both Earth Thought Evil Spirit and the Evil Eye. Earth Thought immediately released the black mist from his body, wrapping around Zofeng's right arm and permeating through the pores. Like needle pricks, the pain became non-existent as the pain perception was reduced to 0%, and Zofeng almost felt like laughing. How does it feel? Nothing. Do you want to put more effort into it? Incredulous, Earth Thought Evil Spirit continued to attempt to torture him to extract information. But the result didn't change. His released black mist had physical destruction and mental pain effects, but it had no effect on this mysterious weak being. After several unsuccessful attempts, Earth Thought Evil Spirit completely lost patience and twisted Zofeng's neck, breaking it. The blood and energy that constituted Zofeng also dissipated into a black mist and even with Evil Eye's utmost effort, not a single trace could be found. It was as if it had evaporated into thin air. Catch a few more for interrogation. Investigate the specific origins of these mysterious beings. Evil Eye spoke at this moment. Though these mysterious beings were very weak, in Evil Eye's view, possessing rule power meant they couldn't be ordinary beings. They must have some secrets. I don't want to converse with these foolish beings anymore. Earth Thought, Evil Spirit said impatiently. Don't forget they control rule power. If you can clearly understand their origins, perhaps you could also master similar abilities. I might even infuse rule power into your Black Tide, creating a powerful legion that controls rule power. These words from Evil Eye made Earth Thought, Evil Spirit fall silent, nodding after a long pause. Phoenix. Player Fulham. Feeling awful. Hidden task wasn't triggered successfully. Not sure which step went wrong. Poster, drifting brise. Content. I had to come to the forum to talk about what just happened. It really pissed me off. My brothers and I were having a great time mowing down evil spirits amidst the Black Tide. And after discovering that my brothers had already been locked up for cooling down 1 hour, I was totally exhausted and ready to die. But then something unexpected happened. Guess who I met? It was Earth Thought, Evil Spirit, who had previously blasted God of Wealth. It was clear that a hidden task could be triggered at this point. But the problem is my response seems to have messed up, and ultimately I was killed by Earth Thought, Evil Spirit. Here's the video recorded at that time. Attachment. Recorded video. Comment section. Dark Knight will come. Bro, you really are reckless. Your in-game identity is that of an Emperor Zhao's warrior. How could you match your answers? To trigger a hidden task, you definitely need to be tough. Show a fearless attitude. Then you'll trigger the hidden task, like Courage of Emperor's Omen Warrior. Hidden task. Is it Beaver? Dude, you are too fierce. Just lost a hidden task that was almost yours upstairs, brother. Hey, he is right. You need to answer in character in the game. Definitely can't be weak. Your loss is big this time. Shame I didn't trigger the task. Otherwise, I could have nailed it. Zero charge. This hidden task might provide 10,000 sacrificial power, or even more. Just imagine, such a huge fortune slipped through our fingers. I feel like slapping myself twice in frustration. Zofang's posts sparked heated discussions on the forum, continuously climbing the popularity charts. Regarding the special plot he triggered, forum players transformed into experts, offering what they believed to be reliable advice, while simultaneously lamenting that such good fortune didn't happen to them. Hours later, the live streaming room of Fierce Chicken was flooded with players. This was because Fierce Chicken encountered the plot trigger mentioned in the forum player Drifting Breeze's post and was transported by the evil spirit to the top of the tower platform. This skyrocketed the popularity of his streaming room to #1, drawing in crowds of players eager to witness the trigger of the hidden plot. At this moment, Earth Thought, Evil Spirit, and Evil Eye were in a gloomy mood. Looking at the mysterious creature sitting on the platform, they saw uncontrollable joy and excitement in its eyes, not a hint of fear, just endless fervor. Having fought in the dungeon world and instilled fear in countless lives, it was the first time Earth Thought, Evil Spirit encountered such a bizarre situation. Aren't you scared? Fierce Chicken, knowing through the live stream that it triggered a hidden plot, shivered slightly, suppressing his excitement to think about how to answer. If the answer is correct, big rewards await. The hidden task rewards would surely be generous. Meanwhile, the audience in the live room also offered their suggestions. Quickly curse at it. Cursing will definitely trigger the hidden task. As an Emperor's Omen warrior, you must have a harsh attitude towards evil spirits. Go on the offensive right away. To trigger the task, you need to show your bravery. Don't be like the last idiot who just honestly answered questions. That was too stupid. Don't listen to nonsense from the brother above. I suggest you first answer this question, then gradually unfold the subsequent dialogue. Dying in a suicide charge without developing the plot definitely won't trigger the hidden task. Trust me, brother, I'm a 5-year veteran player from the Land of Sin, deeply understanding the games developed by the Moon Eclipse clan. Players in the live stream gave various options. After a brief silence, Fierce Chicken gritted his teeth and transformed into the eagle-headed demon form, decisively charging towards Earth Thought, Evil Spirit. As an Emperor's Omen warrior, I will never compromise with evil spirits. Crack. Accompanied by the sound of a neck breaking, the live streaming screen darkened, displaying the message. Player dead. Live stream interrupted. I told you it was necessary to unfold the dialogue first. Starting with a charge was a foolish move, so stupid. Another fool threw away the huge fortune right at his fingertips. I don't understand the point of launching a suicidal charge. It's a pity it wasn't me who triggered the plot. Otherwise, I wouldn't miss such an opportunity. I laughed so hard at this. Learn from the last guy who met God of Wealth. He chatted with God of Wealth for a while before being granted the Heavenly Talisman combat skill. So obviously, when encountering a special event, you should start with a dialogue and wait for the plot to develop to trigger subsequent content. Regarding this failed attempt to trigger the hidden task, the onlookers expressed their opinions. Everyone thought Fierce Chicken's actions were too reckless. If it had been one of them, they surely could have triggered it, only lamenting their lack of such good luck. Hour later, the hidden task appeared again. The player who triggered the task decisively started live streaming, and his streaming room quickly climbed the charts. The comment section of the live stream was again flooded with armchair generals. When the player who triggered the task faced Earth Thought, Evil Spirit, he tried a different approach. In response to the question, He started by answering normally until asked about the source of his power, encouraged by the players in the live stream. He then boldly looked at Earth Thought Evil Spirit and spoke. Shameless evil spirit, don't even think of knowing Emperor Zhao's secrets. I'm going all out with you. After speaking, he transformed into monster form and tragically turned into black mist with a slap. After this player's death, subsequent players who triggered the hidden plot started playing unorthodoxly, attempting through trial and error to find the conditions to start the hidden task. For example, after a player triggered the hidden task, when faced with Earth Thought Evil Spirit's questioning, he cried bitterly, expressing his willingness to pledge loyalty to the Black Tide, stating he had long disliked the pretentious Emperor Zhao. This inclination was triggered by a suggestion in the live stream. The suggestion reasoned that the hidden task might require the player to join the Black Tide undercover, thereby triggering an undercover plotline and launching a different growth path from other players. This idea was well received and liked by many players, thus becoming the choice for this lucky player to trigger the task. Unsurprisingly, it ended with the player's death. As players continuously tried, the method to trigger the hidden plot remained undeciphered, and the topic discussing the methods continued climbing in popularity. Evil Eye Tower Platform. After killing the brought-in mysterious creature again, Earth Thought Evil Spirit completely fell silent. Reflecting on the past few days, it felt like its mind had been stuffed with bizarre things. The brought-in mysterious creatures acted too independently and didn't seem like members of a single species. There was a mysterious creature who attacked him at the slightest disagreement, one that knelt and begged to join the Black Tide faction, one that said nothing but glared in anger, and one that earnestly persuaded him to lay down his weapons and join Emperor Zhao's faction. The most ludicrous was a mysterious creature that, after being brought to the tower, sat on the ground signaling him in sign language, which infuriated him so much that he slammed it into a mist with a palm. These erratic-minded mysterious creatures seemed to treat his interrogation as a performance stage, each time responding to his interrogation in a different way, without repetition. But he never obtained useful information, only receiving odd and strange information that was no help in mastering the rule power. At times, he even thought of giving up. But every time Evil Eye would persuade him, suggesting that this might lead to finding a way to control rule power, he had no choice but to grit his teeth and endure the mental torment inflicted by the bizarre behavior of the mysterious creatures. Now, having persisted till this moment, Earth Thought Evil Spirit had completely lost his patience, feeling suppressed rage violently churning in his mind. He walked to the edge of the platform, and Earth Thought Evil Spirit's dark red eyes burst into light, throwing his arms wide as he roared to the sky. Suddenly, the Black Tide energy within him surged like a huge wave, causing the tower to tremble. Earth Thought, control your emotions. As a commander-type warrior, you must keep your reason at all times, Evil Eye advised solemnly at that moment. To hell with reason, Don't charge in alone. Brothers online gather at the Imperial Tomb Village exit. We'll charge out together later. I thought the Black Tide was supposed to be terrifying, but this is nothing. It's turned into a Dynasty Warrior-style hack-and-slash mode for us, so thrilling. Although the guidance says this is just the weakest level of the Black Tide, with Evil Life just barely reaching Waning Moon level Evil Spirit strength, the thrill makes it all worthwhile. Looking for a strong DPS to join the team and farm levels. No need for taunt souls or other support souls, just DPS. If only there were a healer soul to heal us, we could enjoy the thrill of killing in the face of the Black Tide, but we can't sustain it. When physical strength or spiritual power runs out, death is inevitable. The Black Tide has already been rampaging in the Emperor Tomb Mountain range for a whole day. Players who plan to play the Resurrection loop in Imperial Tomb Village are now thrilled beyond measure. The weakness of the enemy was beyond their expectations. The low-level evil spirits born from the low tide, in the eyes of players, are just experience and sacrificial power fodder, pitiful in their power to harm, yet incredibly abundant in number. The batch of new players who had entered the game were still complaining about encountering the Waning Moon scenario right at the beginning and the high difficulty of monsters. But after facing the Black Tide, they completely turned the tables, finding that their strength was more than enough to slice through the low tide strength of the Black Tide. The thrill of slaughtering evil spirits even made the veteran players feel as if the nature of the game had changed. Compared to the previous hard grind of mining, teaming up to challenge high hunting level evil spirits, and a monster soul survival mode, the emergence of the Black Tide turned the game into a Dynasty Warrior style hack-and-slash mode. The only trouble for players is that their endurance is insufficient, leading to an hour in the little black room after each thrilling kill. Leaving Imperial Tomb Village is a one-way charge to oblivion, until the soul returns to Imperial Tomb Village. Compared to the player's joy, the Earth Thought Evil Spirit that created this Black Tide disaster is in trouble. Currently, on the platform of the tower at the domain node, the gaze of the Earth Thought Evil Spirit follows the sweep of the Black Tide over the Emperor Tomb Mountain range. During this time, it noticed a very serious problem. The intensity of the Black Tide spreading to nearby regions not only did not increase, but also was continually weakened by contact with the mysterious beings who call themselves players. To investigate the origin of these mysterious creatures, it had personally tracked them. The resulting conclusion was unbelievable. These beings that call themselves players don't seem to belong to this world, but like it, come from other worlds, descending upon this land through a breach in Monster World's barriers. In other words, this player clan is also an invader of Monster World. However, the method of invasion was baffling to it. They arrived consecutively, sometimes dozens at a time, sometimes even alone, with no tactics or coordination. After contact with its controlled black tide, members of the player clan would simply fight mindlessly until life expires. This is highly inconsistent with the structured force expected of an invading power. It's completely scattered, without any systematic fighting capacity. Yet this insignificant force, with no capacity to kill, became an unsolvable problem for it. The player clan has a rule characteristic that even evil eyes cannot decipher. Upon death, they completely dissipate, unable to be absorbed by the black tide, and evil spirits killed by player clan members cannot be reincorporated into the black tide. The battle turned into a war of attrition. What it doesn't know is how much reserve power the player force actually has. At the current rate, the strength of the black tide will only continue to wane. It is infuriated by this serious trouble on its first expedition to this world, with no perfect solution in sight. The only option seems to be to continue draining the player clan's reserves through the black tide, gradually wearing down the player force. In the war of attrition, the Black Tide army in the eyes of Earth thought is seemingly invincible. Before this, it had followed and invaded 2 small worlds. At the beginning of the invasion, the descending Black Tide army was at a disadvantage. Especially when invading Dungeon World, the commander leading the Black Tide only had strength less than commander level, even weaker than some of the strongest beings in Dungeon World. But as the Black Tide army swept across the world through the long years, the combined strength of Dungeon World's various alliances was continuously weakened, while the combat power of the Black Tide army rapidly climbed. By the end of the war, the commander's strength had advanced to king level, and it had ascended to a commander-level warrior during this battle. Ultimately, Dungeon World succumbed in their last offensive, facing the doomsday of being consumed by the Black Tide. Therefore, in the eyes of the Earth thought evil spirit, the Black Tide army fears nothing more than a war of attrition. With its trait of rapidly nurturing evil life, no force can contend with the Black Tide in a protracted war. The initial disadvantage when first clashing with other forces, or a war of equal powers, in the eyes of the Earth thought evil spirit, signifies an inevitable victory to come. Primordial Altar. Qi Sheng's mind is filled with the data feedback from guidance, showing the gains from the player core's 29-hour resistance against the Black Tide. After deducting the consumption from player deaths and resurrections, the Black Tide has brought him a wealth gain of 580,000 in sacrificial power. The revenue is growing explosively. At the current trend, the raging Black Tide will significantly enhance the player core's overall strength. According to the feedback from the guidance, the Earth thought evil spirit has drained the heavenly domain node's reserve energy. But in order to take over the domain node of the Emperor Tomb Mountain Range, it is borrowing energy from other Black Tide nodes, trying to create more evil life. In the eyes of Qi Sheng, it's like borrowing money to upgrade the combat power for his player core. What calamity! This is the real god of wealth. Having scrimped and saved on sacrificial power for so long, the feeling of sudden wealth is really exhilarating. The guiding water ball floating beside Qi Sheng displayed a joyful expression, and then continued. Thinking back to the days right before recruiting players when we were nearly bankrupt and waiting for death, days with hope for the future now seem like heaven. These words from the guiding water ball made Qi Sheng feel extremely emotional. Before they found Earth, he and Yinming's consciousness had traveled through countless crumbling and shattered worlds. Watching the remaining stock of sacrificial power dwindle, almost insufficient to conceal and stand alone in Monster World's Imperial Tomb Village, they had prepared themselves to face death once the village's barrier shattered. Back then, Yinming had even suggested extracting the remaining sacrificial power from Imperial Tomb Village and fighting to death outside its walls, preferring an honorable death in battle to a hopeless wait for the end. Luckily, he stopped Yinming and chose to use the last of their sacrificial power to continue searching for worlds that hadn't fallen apart. When all seemed lost, a vast blue planet appeared in their field of consciousness. At that moment, his heart filled with boundless joy, a feeling Qi Sheng still clearly remembers to this day. The guiding water ball's sentiments were, after all, reflections of his own thoughts. The player core proved with facts that his initial plan had no issues. Although the player core is currently only dealing with the weakest low tide forces among the Black Tide force, far from being able to contend with the true main force of the Black Tide, their potential for growth has been revealed in this battle. Watching the rapid growth of the player core is an amazing feeling. It brings a sense of joy and satisfaction like watching one's own child grow bit by bit. With the help of players, his Emperor's body has now contained 17 types of primordial power, his strength now several times greater than before the recruitment plan began. The most obvious feature is the change in the color of the scarlet flames burning on his body when he switches to the Emperor's Omen form, becoming deeper and more intense. As the guiding water ball said, everything is moving in a good direction. The once desperate situation is now leading to a bright future. Without further thought, he switched his view to the player perspective, and his consciousness rapidly moved through different players' views and the latest information updated on the forum. At this moment, a forum post caught his attention. A brand new endurance build, the Food Energy Dual Star Vein Combination Test Tower Simulation Effect Demonstration. Streamer, Steel Giant Arm. Content. I've had a great time hunting the Black Tide lately, but I've also discovered a problem. There's a special kind of evil spirit called Shadow Attack in the Black Tide. Here's a screenshot analysis of the Shadow Attack. Attachment, analysis information. The monster in the attachment looks like a shadow sliding along the ground with no definite shape. Shadow Attack, Evil Spirit. Hunting level 5. Target introduction. A low-level evil life born from the Black Tide, immune to low-intensity physical damage, can cause continuous damage by parasitizing its target. I'm sure everyone has encountered this evil spirit. It's one of the most troublesome monsters in the Black Tide. Once it latches onto you, you can't shake it off. You can only endure the increasing injuries, and I found many people died from being parasitized by the Shadow Attack. My interpretation of the low difficulty physical damage mentioned in the introduction is that a single hit can't kill it. It just splits and heals quickly. Indeed, my attempts to defeat the Shadow Attack were futile, as it quickly regenerated. Only energy and elemental damage can cause substantial harm to Shadow Attacks. This problem has been troubling me because I've always favored melee combat when playing games from childhood, not enjoying playing as range mage classes. Even in this game, I started with a black armored snake and paired it with a shattering blade life soul, both of which are melee life souls. Against such a disgustingly tricky monster, I was completely out of my element. To solve this problem, I thought of the test tower and decided to simulate a solution there. And as it turns out, I did manage to combine the best solution among the existing 17 life souls. No more wasting words. Here's the demonstration video. Attachment, demonstration video. Qi Sheng's consciousness clicked on the video, and immediately the virtual scenario was presented in his mind. The player's steel giant arm began by showing the 4 life souls he had paired: Shattering Blade, Power Barbarian Axe, Bone Fire, and Food Energy. Then, in the demonstration scene, Steel Giant Arm started to explain the features of this Star Vein combination. Star Vein inlay demonstration over. Next, I'll explain the combat idea behind my Star Vein combination. Considering that certain evil spirits and monsters can only be substantially damaged by energy and elemental life souls, I thought of a way to grant melee combat elemental damage and try a combination of magic and martial arts. With that said, Steel Giant Arm swung both hands, and suddenly 2 artifact spirits hovered to his left and right. On the left was the Shattering Blade, on the right was the Power Barbarian Axe, both of which he grasped firmly. Then the Bone Fire life soul was activated, and a dark fire rapidly spread from the player's body to the weapons, adding a layer of burning flame to the 2 artifact spirit weapons. I bet some of you are wondering why I wield 2 weapons. Artifact spirits can merge and take any form freely. For instance, my Shattering Blade and Power Barbarian Axe can merge into either sword or axe form, getting both shattering effects and increased output in one. Here, I have to mention the frequency of weapon attacks. As a veteran melee user, dual wielding significantly increases my attack frequency and is very useful once mastered. Left hand for defense break, right hand for critical hits. It's very powerful in practice. With the Ink Flame enchantment in the Bone Fire form, physical damage naturally comes with elemental damage. After explaining his combat strategy, Steel Giant Arm changed the topic. However, relying solely on Shattering Blade, Power Barbarian Axe, and Bone Fire, there's a severe flaw. The stamina is extremely weak, and within less than 5 minutes, one would be drained of spiritual power and fall into a dizzy state. After all, our primary path is not as a magic soul, but as a melee combat-oriented one. The issue of weaker spiritual power prevents us from utilizing Ink Flame abilities for extended periods, like players focusing on the eagle-headed demon, resulting in incredibly weak stamina. That's why I've added Life Force Inhalation as the 4th life soul option. It's essential to emphasize that Life Force Inhalation is not solely suitable for magic players. Upon hearing this, Qi Sheng had already understood the combat pattern of this Star Vein school. The left hand wields the Shattering Blade for defense break and applying shattering marks. The right hand wields the Power Barbarian Axe for heavy output, while the Bone Fire life soul enchants the artifact spirit. Both weapons carry the entwined elemental damage of Ink Flame, plus the addition of Life Force Inhalation, taking care of Qi Blood and spiritual power recovery, maintaining the enchantment effect of Ink Flame continuously. After explaining the construction idea of the Star Vein combination, Steel Giant Arm, in the demonstration environment, summoned the test panel to call forth monsters. Wielding dual weapons, he shuttled through the crowd of monsters, showcasing an impressive performance, continuously opening his mouth to draw in air, with white energy streams forming a vortex in his mouth. The post received a lot of upvotes from players, and the comment section was bustling. Word up. Thanks for sharing the Star Vein school, bro. Looks good. Much more practical than those brothers sharing advanced schools. When can we even use those uncollected life soul combinations? I prefer these practical life soul combination strategies. Post saved. Tim Ming Juja. Thanks to the big bro for sharing the strategy. I absolutely love the combination of magic and martial arts. Kurajin, no, Kuaming Itao. So thankful. I was just worrying about this problem. How to deal with special monsters like shadow attackers is purely melee, and I see your strategy post on the forum right away. I've decided to follow this school. But I don't like dual wielding. Fusing with an artifact spirit suits me better. Tip: 1 point of sacrificial power. Okay, Janger, nice idea, but this school has a serious issue. Once the body refining level is up to par and attributes are inherited, the Power Barbarian Axe and Shattering Blade mainly enhance physical fitness attributes, but Life Force Inhalation and Bonefire Life Soul primarily increase spiritual power attributes. There's a conflict between these two types of life souls. In theory, players who choose 4 melee life souls would be far stronger in terms of physical strength, making this school look fancy, but actually less powerful than players with 4 melee life souls. I find it impractical. Steel Giant Arm, Poster, replies to Heiyi, damn, it's brother Heiyi. The problem you pointed out indeed exists, but to deal with special monsters, sacrifices are inevitable. This school's physical fitness indeed won't be as strong as that of 4 melee life souls mix. Does brother Heiyi have any good suggestions? While browsing the replies, Qi Sheng discovered a previously unnoticed issue with the settings. The player Dark Knight will come from the strategy party pointed out an issue with this Star Vein combination, prompting Qi Sheng to think about the setting flaws in Star Vein combinations. Currently, players hunting evil spirits and monsters share the evolution points among all the embedded life souls. For example, if a player embeds 3 life souls and kills a monster to gain 120 evolution points, the points are distributed evenly, hence, all life souls are strengthened synchronously. This creates a problem in focusing development. The Star Vein school provided by player Steel Giant Arm has this issue. The levels of Bonefire and Life Force Inhalation life souls only need to be sufficient for the recovery speed of spiritual power, and pouring too many evolution points into them becomes an obstacle to improving strength. Excess evolution points could instead be focused on enhancing the Shattering Blade and Power Barbarian Axe. As more Star Vein combination options emerge in the future, this problem will become even more severe. Even distribution becomes a hindrance. Having identified the problem, Qi Sheng immediately thought of modifying the setting. How to modify it becomes clear to him as he reads through the comments. He decided to add a regulation function to the acquisition of evolution points, allowing players the freedom to allocate these points. Without overthinking it, Qi Sheng immediately began the practical test. Summoning the challenger system, countless flashing characters emerged, whirling around his body. Almost instantly, the guidance beside him started helping him simulate a new evolution point distribution system. 10 minutes later, a brand new panel appeared in front of Qi Sheng, bearing the words Evolution Points Distribution. In the center was a Life Soul embedding column with 5 simulated Life Souls displayed, each with a percentage progress bar below that could be dragged to freely allocate the percentage. It could be set to a maximum of 100% and a minimum of 0%, with a one-click balance button at the bottom. Selecting one-click balance, the progress bars below the 5 Life Souls automatically adjust to 20%, evenly sharing the evolution points obtained from hunting. After testing the function panel and its feedback connection with the challenger system, Qi Sheng nodded in satisfaction. The appearance of the new function would completely solve the problem of not being able to focus on developing specific life souls, giving players more freedom in strengthening choices. A specific life soul, once reaching a certain level, can have its distribution adjusted to 0%, no longer sharing the evolution points from hunting. It completely solves the issue of enhancement being overly balanced and resulting in reduced combat effectiveness mentioned in the post. After completing the tests, Qi Sheng decided to start a new round of updates immediately, making this new function available to players. And this is precisely the significance of continually collecting player information. Each update is for a better gaming experience for the players, more convenient access to functions, and then creating more sacrificial power profits. Achieving the true body of Emperor Zhao begins with taking care of the players. The next day, Qi Sheng received a superdimensional mental link, informing him that the decompose function had been completed. After testing this function, Qi Sheng immediately launched a new round of updates. Minutes later, challenger tips echoed in the minds of all players, and the forum also published the details of the update in real time. Challenger tips, all channels the game is about to undergo version 1.4 maintenance update. The content of this update is as follows. Poster, guidance, verified official. Content, to optimize game content, this update will modify existing features and add new ones. Update details 1. Life Soul Decomposition. Introduction, a new Life Soul Decomposition function has been added to the function panel, where players can decompose their existing life souls to obtain 95% of the evolution points refunded. Tips. The decompose function can only be used on stripped life souls. It cannot be applied to life souls that are still embedded. The evolution points obtained from decomposing can be freely allocated for use on other life souls. Example. After decomposing a level 10 Black Armored Snake life soul, 3,000 evolution points can be refunded, which can be used to raise a level 1 Eagle-Headed Demon to level 9 at 25% progress. Update details 2. Evolution Points Allocation. Introduction. Following this update, a secondary panel, Evolution Points Allocation, will be added to the Star Vein Enhancement panel, where players can freely adjust the percentage distribution of evolution points obtained from hunting, focusing on nurturing specific life souls to receive a higher quota of evolution points from hunting. Update details 3. Trading House. Introduction. A new Trading House function has been introduced in the function panel, where players can list resources they've gathered, crafted items, and other goods for sale. Pricing is set freely by players, with each successful sale incurring a 5% sacrificial power transaction fee for the seller. Tips: trading house purchases can be retrieved using guidance teleportation regardless of distance, with an added 1% teleportation fee for transregional retrieval. This update is an online update. There is no need for players to log off and wait. Comments section. Dark night will come. The surprise came too suddenly. Just yesterday, I was discussing the limitations of the Star Vein enhancement with a foreign brother, as we couldn't focus on nurturing specific life souls, and today the evolution points allocation function is released. I'm not sure if the Moon Eclipse clan officials have been secretly watching or it's just a coincidence, but I lean towards coincidence since anyone who's played their previous games knows their style. They act high and mighty, listening to nothing. Roar hurricane, spitting blood in frustration. Just yesterday, I stripped the stone statue Ghost Life Soul to switch to Eagle-Headed Demon, and today they released the stripping and decomposing function. What about my loss from yesterday? Are the damn officials not compensating? I'm so angry, I nearly punched a Moon Eclipse clan member to death. Beaver. The evolution points allocation and life soul decomposition functions are praiseworthy. No more worries about sunk costs when changing schools now. I give full marks to this update for truly considering the player's actual gaming experience. Weapon Master. I love the trading house feature. Now we can search directly in the trading house for custom weapons without needing to message privately. Just snap them up. Although there's a 5% fee, efficiency is much improved, a very convenient setup. Big Killer. Life soul upgrades too slow? Hunting evil spirits too difficult? Head to the trading house to buy 2nd generation upgraded spiritual ability guns and 2nd generation spiritual bombs. Even low levels can have strong firepower. Everyone who has tried them speaks highly of them. Moon Eclipse Clan Special Invitee. Just when I was thinking of swapping out my Black Armor Life Soul, this update arrived. Close combat is too lackluster this version. Decisively switching to the combination of Bonefire plus Eagle-Headed Demon plus Energy Absorption Star Vein. Ranged output is the answer this version. By browsing the comments, one can see that players are very satisfied with this update. The only dissatisfied ones are those who changed their life soul schools right before the update. Their extracted life souls were refined and entered the sacrificial pool without being eligible for decomposition feedback. Qi Sheng immediately offered a solution to this issue, converting the 95% profit that would have been obtained from decomposition into evolution points and refunding them to the players via email. Suddenly, the wailing voices in the official update thread disappeared. With their losses compensated, the earlier complaints turned into praise for the content of the update. This update also means that players no longer need to worry when pairing different Star Vein school combinations, as they can switch to a new Life Soul school with just a 5% loss on initial investment. It will lead to the development and application of more combinations within the Star Vein school. With the update concluded, Qi Sheng decided to start a new round of recruitment. After the ravaging Black Tide, the Dark Cave is now empty, and even low-level beginners are choosing to leave Imperial Tomb Village, growing quickly through hunting evil spirits. In Qi Sheng's view, the raging Black Tide is very suitable for beginner growth and trials. As for the recruitment targets, he already has a clear target group in mind. Iron Wall City. As night falls and the lights come on, a corner of the city hosts the Veterans Bar, currently open for business. The bar sign is shaped like a large black shield, with the words Veterans inscribed on it. Pushing through the doors, the deep, magnetic sound of jazz music slowly flows, contrasting starkly with the bustling modernity outside. The interior decor of the bar has a retro flair from several centuries ago, its dim yellow light spilling through engraved copper chandeliers, casting a retro glow over the space. Several old, yellowed photos hang on the walls, snapshots of group portraits from the days of the mechanical wars. The bar is crafted from dark, solid wood, its surface smooth, reflecting the colorful glass bottles and fine bar tools. The bartender, dressed in a classic white shirt and a black bow tie, skillfully shakes the cocktail shaker, while the air is filled with the scent of whiskey, cigar smoke, and a hint of flowers. The chairs and sofas here have been whitened by the years. At the round table in the center of the bar, an old man with white hair and a centipede scar fiercely drew on his cigar, crushed the butt in the ashtray, then turned to look at the elder, sitting not far away. "Old dog, why hasn't the boss arrived yet?" "He's been contacted, should be here any minute," said the elder hidden in the shadows as he stood up, revealing a half-cyborg face, and raised his glass to the inquiring old man. Just then, the bar door was pushed open, and the bell tinkled crisply against the doorframe. A group of elderly men in the bar turned their heads, only to see a figure over 2 meters tall stride in, his combat boots resonating on the wooden floor. The newcomer took off his coat drenched with rainwater, revealing broad and solid muscles, looked up at his old friends gathered there, and grinned. "I'm late." The bar, quiet for a moment, immediately became boisterous. "Captain, missing one leg really does make you slower than my two." An old man who had lost both arms looked at Li Tai and laughed heartily. "Brother Tai, your granddaughter must have clung to you again, huh? Interested in introducing her to my grandson? Boss, come have a drink quickly, I've missed you." Sitting down at the round table in the center of the bar, Li Tai's gaze swept over everyone present. "Where are Bao Qiu and Huang Feng?" Faced with the question, everyone suddenly fell silent, and the smiles on their faces dissipated. Bao Qiu and Huang Feng didn't make it through this year. You were undergoing mental recovery treatment at the time, and your situation wasn't very stable. So to avoid stimulating you, we didn't notify you to attend the funeral. The old man sitting next to Li Tai spoke gravely. Hearing this, a flash of sadness crossed Li Tai's eyes. But he quickly suppressed his emotions, reached out for his glass, and raised it up high, grinning. We old-timers lucky to have crawled out from hell. Each day alive is a bonus to the veteran soldiers, to the old friends. To the veteran soldiers, to the old friends. The other elders raised their glasses, and then followed Li Tai in downing them in one gulp. In the reminiscing session, while listening to his old comrades talking about their experiences over the year, Li Tai's thoughts drifted with an old classic song playing from a corner, stirring the deepest memories at the bottom of his heart. Deafening artillery fire seemed to explode next to his ear. Endless mechanical armies lay across the battlefield, stretching endlessly on both sides. Those sitting here were all brothers who had been through life and death with him on the battlefield. The brutal war, his troops that ultimately returned alive, only numbered 46. The rest of his brothers were buried on the battlefield. Only 27 were left today. This painful memory was not only his nightmare, but also an ineradicable grief in the hearts of the old friends present. Whenever he thought of this past, countless young faces would flash through his mind, and these figures would be torn apart in the flying flames of war. He would try to reach out to retain them, only to find they were nothing but illusions. This was also one of the main reasons for his mental issues. With each replay of these indelible memories, the suppressed emotions would intensify once more, until a complete breakdown where reality and memories could no longer be distinguished. He took a deep drag of his cigar, exhaled a thick puff of smoke, which curled up along his fingers, veiling his slightly lost eyes. Boss, tell us about your year. Has your granddaughter married? Nonsense, would I not ask you guys over for a drink if she got married? Blowing away the swirling white smoke before him, Li Tai lifted his right arm and hooked the elder sitting beside him under his arm, grinned and said, "Do you want to introduce my granddaughter to your grandson again? That kid isn't lucky enough. Recently got hooked on something called Darkland or whatever. My son told me he stays up late to grab spots. His life is basically wasted." Hearing this, Li Tai's heart stirred. Darkland. Yes, that's the one. Supposedly the scenes inside are very realistic, much more advanced than the virtual games we played when we were young. His old friend's words sparked an idea in Li Tai. These old comrades were in a similar situation to his, all having post-war stress disorder. Why not take these old friends to Darkland? Let them conquer in the game. The emotional release could alleviate their symptoms and also avoid the destructive risks that come with emotional breakdowns in reality. With this thought, Li Tai stood up and clapped his hands sharply. Clap. The crisp sound of clapping arose, and the noisy bar suddenly quietened down. The old comrades all looked at Li Tai. "Come over here, I have something to discuss with you." Hearing this, the veteran soldiers all stood up and gathered around Li Tai, looking puzzled. The scar-faced leader spoke before Li Tai could. "Boss, you must be pulling us to play a virtual game again. I'm not interested, it's too childish." Hearing the scar-faced elder's words, Li Tai suddenly found himself at a loss for words. In fact, he had previously invited these old friends to experience virtual games. But only he persisted. The others chose to return to real life after a brief experience. And the reason he persisted was to accompany his granddaughter Li Siyu, or he would have given up long ago. This time it's different. Recently, under Siyu's recommendation, I came across a virtual game that's incredibly realistic. So, I want you all to experience this game with me. Alright, the game can automatically compensate for our physical deficiencies, and there we can regain the body parts we've lost. Li Tai swept his gaze over his old buddies and said solemnly, "This time I'm not kidding you guys. This game is not even close to the virtual games I've recommended to you before. You'll know once you try it." After listening to Li Tai's story, his old war buddies looked at each other in disbelief. Still, the scar-faced man who led the group was the first to speak up. "Boss, since you said so much, we've got to give it a try. Send us the purchase link in the group later, and we'll check it out when we get back." Hearing this, Li Tai immediately shook his head. "It's not your turn to buy. Players who want to buy it now have to fight for it. You might not even be able to get it through the official channels, even if you were lying in a coffin." "Leader, what do you mean? How can we get into the game if we can't grab a purchase slot?" Faced with the question, Li Tai grinned and said, "I've got a cracked version link here. You can directly get the game eligibility through the link, but you all have to keep it a secret. If it's exposed, we might all get our game eligibility revoked." As he spoke, Li Tai took out his phone and shared the download link for Darkland in the War Buddies chat group. Time passed, and at midnight, the annual gathering of the old soldiers came to an end. A drunken Li Tai and his buddies fell asleep in the tavern and didn't wake up until the dawn's early light. The next day at noon, after Li Tai got home, he took out his phone and found that his buddies had already snagged their eligibility and were downloading the game. Li Tai saw nothing wrong with this. Having downloaded the game using the link without knowing that the download was limited, he plainly didn't realize that it wasn't available to click and download it anytime everywhere. Another reason why these old soldiers could easily obtain their download eligibility was due to another layer of reasons. All the movements on the Star Network were under real-time monitoring by the Guidance, and when it learned that he wanted to share the eligibility with other old soldiers, the Guidance reported this information to Qi Sheng. Qi Sheng then chose to grant an additional batch of download eligibility to these old soldiers. In Qi Sheng's view, old soldiers, whether in terms of psychological quality or combat awareness, are far superior to ordinary players and are the most ideal candidates for player recruitment. An hour later, under Li Tai's call, the old army group officially logged into the game and appeared at the resurrection point of Imperial Tomb Village. Just entering the game, their reactions were completely different from other players. What shocked them was not the visuals in front of them, but the repair of missing parts of their bodies. My hand, it's back. An old soldier raised his arm in front of his eyes, a familiar yet strange feeling causing his eyes to redden. He stared at the arm that he had once lost, now whole once again, and the complex emotions surging in his heart were indescribable. His fingers trembled lightly, and the feedback from the slightest movement felt like a dream. In this moment, the nature of the game had changed in the eyes of these old soldiers. The pain of physical loss, once an insurmountable setback in their lives, the facade of strength shown to others could not cover the sorrow and loss in their hearts. But in this game, the lost parts of their bodies had returned. It seems I will grow old with this game in the future. This feels so great. Swinging his arms, the old soldier couldn't help but laugh out loud. Watching the joy on his old buddy's face, Li Tai standing beside him couldn't help but grin. Let's go. I'll take you to experience the battlefield of this game. With that, Li Tai waved his hand, leading his buddies towards the exit of Imperial Tomb Village. Along the way, his buddies looked around the environment of Imperial Tomb Village curiously, finding the realism of the game unbelievable. During this time, Li Tai was also non-stop talking, introducing the gameplay and how to use the features of the game. The arrival of the old buddies made Li Tai feel immensely happy. Although he had already joined a guild formed by his granddaughter in this game, he always felt like he couldn't fit into the drunken group's chat atmosphere, feeling out of place, which was also why he chose to roam alone. He was nowhere near as comfortable as he was with this group of old friends. As they walked out of Imperial Tomb Village, the thick fog blocking their view dissipated, and the scene unfolding before their eyes made the old soldiers following Li Tai tense up. The sky-darkening black tide seemed like giant waves rolling in, one wave taller than the next, crashing down, releasing countless monstrous creatures composed of black tide energy. The terrifying scene shook their hearts, prompting the old soldiers to instinctively take a combat stance. These are black tide demonic spirits. In the game setting, they are our player's greatest enemy. Killing evil spirits can earn us evolution points, which significantly enhance our body strength, letting you experience the strength, speed, physical strength you had when you were young, Li Tai said. As he finished speaking, golden light burst from Li Tai's eyes. 5 artifact spirits revolved around him, ultimately concentrating into a golden glow at his center, forming a golden battle axe. Li Tai's aura changed with this, with surging energy ripples spreading out from under his feet. The attributes boosted by the merging artifact spirits turned into golden runes, branding his body and making him look every bit the war god. Leader, your outfit is so cool. Boss, how did you get that? Give me one too. Listening to his old war buddy's exclaims, Li Tai's vanity was satisfied. His gaze fixed on the rampaging black tide in the distance. He smirked. Watch closely. There's something even cooler coming up. His words had barely finished when Li Tai leaped over 10 meters high, tracing an arc in the air, and upon landing, he jumped high again. His battle axe burst forth with dazzling golden light, like a meteor crashing hard into a crowd of evil spirits, immediately creating a crater on the ground. The force of the blow instantly crushed the surrounding evil spirits in a black mist, which dissolved and swiftly coalesced, surging towards him, transforming into energy, merging into his body. Boss, you're so cool. Do another one. Leader, this game is fun, but how come we can't jump as high as you? Brother Tai, you remind me of the time when you charged through the mechanical army. Too cool. The old buddies cheered and exclaimed in the voice chat, giving Li Tai a full charge of show-off spirit and driving his desire to fight even higher. Seeing their leader's bravery, the old soldiers also switched to monster form according to what Li Tai had taught them along the way and, roaring, followed Li Tai to charge into the evil tide. 10 minutes later, Breaking Wall Battle Group, Comrades Chat Group. Old dog. Damn it, I only killed 2 before I got wiped out. Why is there a 1-hour death cooldown in this damn game? The gang. Damn, what's with the 1-hour cooldown? Just as I was getting into it, it's over. It's suffocating. How can I skip the 1-hour cooldown? Will watching ads do the trick? Ash, this game is too thrilling. Charging with the leader feels like reliving those fiery young days. I feel like my mind has recovered quite a bit. Indeed, emotional release can relieve mental stress. Chopper. Crap, why does this lousy game have a resurrection cooldown like dog shit? What's the point of adding this feature? Hurry up and let me into the game. I still want to kill. Old dog behind you. Hearing the call of his old comrade-in-arms, Old Dog, who was fighting an evil spirit, switched to the black armored snake form without hesitation, using his tail to send the black tide, demonic spirits approaching from behind flying without even looking back. Then, decisively switching back to human form, he pulled out a dagger from a space bag and stabbed forward with a backhand grip. Accompanied by a shrill scream, the worm in front of Old Dog was pierced by the blade, dropping powerlessly and turning into a black mist that flew towards Old Dog and his comrade-in-arms. At that moment, a magic flea attacked from the side. Old Dog's dagger quickly transformed into a spiritual ability gun, and he pulled the trigger, instantly lighting up the engraved patterns on the gun from the muzzle, spreading along the barrel. Boom! The muzzle flashed, and the incoming magic flea was punctured by the bullet, exploding in midair. This series of actions was smooth as flowing water, eliminating the 3 black-tide demonic spirits that attacked. Chopper, I need to regain health. Coming. As a large number of evil spirits advanced, the one called Chopper arrived in front of the veteran warrior, using his car to block the offensive while continuing to deliver damage output. At this time, a red potion was thrown from not too far away. Old Dog leaped up to catch the potion, unscrewed the cap, and gulped it down. As his physical strength quickly recovered, Old Dog looked up at the distant figure, wielding an axe like a war god, sweeping irresistibly forward, and a feeling of envy rose in his heart. But this emotion was soon suppressed by the fighting spirit rising from the bottom of his heart. His gaze quickly swept around, and then he shouted to a comrade not far on his left. Shua, 2 o'clock direction. Shua, engaged in battle, heard the call, and his war blade instantly switched to a spiritual ability gun. Without even lifting his head, he fired in the direction Old Dog indicated. Instantly, a dark shadow approaching was blown apart in the air, turning into several black mists that dispersed towards all team members in the team mode. Under tacit cooperation, the old army group, led by Old Dog, grew fiercer in the battle against the evil spirits, their combat emotions escalating along with the intensity of the struggle. All of this, Qi Sheng, who was behind the scenes, observed everything. 2 days ago, he distributed 12 27-game qualifications. Among them, 27 additional spots were given to Li Tai's 27 old comrades in arms. The facts had proven that this group of veterans did not disappoint him. Since entering the game these 2 days, the old army group only did 2 things. Log in, follow Li Tai into the fray, engage the black tide, demonic spirits head-on, filled with high morale and boiling passion. Log out, curse the resurrection cooldown mechanism set by the Moon Eclipse clan in the chat group together. Wait for the resurrection cooldown to end, quiet the cursing, and log in to continue slaughtering evil spirits. They were like machines running non-stop. Except for the time of resurrection cooldown, they were either in battle or on their way to battle. According to the data tallied by guidance, whether in terms of the speed of strength growth or the efficiency of killing evil spirits, this group of old soldiers was more than 5 times stronger than the average player. In just 2 days, these veterans had worked out squad tactics, mastered the combination and use of various life soul characteristics and abilities, as well as quick weapon switching for impressive efficiency in killing evil spirits. It was evident that this group of veterans had become completely addicted to the game. The reasons they were addicted were clear in 3 aspects. First, the regeneration of their lost body parts gave them an experience akin to being reborn. It was a long-lost feeling, like a child getting their favorite toy, not just a physical mending, but an emotional revival. Second, the emotions brought by fighting with the evil spirits made them feel as if they had returned to their younger days when they grew up training together. Last, the attribute enhancement feedback from leveling up fascinated them. In reality, these old soldiers were genetic warriors who once possessed great physical fitness, but with body aging and various sequelae emerging, they often had to endure physical suffering. As they grew older, their physical issues became increasingly severe. The attribute enhancement that improved their physical fitness let them regain their peak form and look forward to further strengthening. Especially with the example like regiment leader Li Tai leading the way, they too desired to have such extraordinary, otherworldly strength. Although it was just a game, they were all prepared to indulge their last passion in this game until their dying day. Game retirement was an internet joke, yet it represented the true thoughts of the old army group's members. Compared to the bleak reality, this game brought a refreshing new experience. Passion, excitement, friendship, everything they had lost was coming back. The only thing that the old army group members found hard to accept was what they considered the most idiotic game mechanism, resurrection cooldown. Returning to reality each time was an agonizing torment. As if returning from a vividly colorful world to a dark and gray one. The stark contrast was the main reason why the old army group vehemently cursed the Moon Eclipse clan in their group chats. In fact, this issue wasn't just with the old army group. A large number of players on the forums had also complained about it. They felt the mechanism seriously affected the gaming experience, condemning it as a bad form of hunger marketing. However, Qi Sheng hadn't thought about addressing the issue for the time being. Not that it was unfeasible, but resolving it would require additional sacrificial power. The process of the player's blood and flesh reshaping was essentially the rule trait of Imperial Tomb Village, a domain node, and 10 points of sacrificial power was the activation energy that drove this rule trait's operation, with the subsequent reshaping process to be completed by the rules. To speed up the reshaping process, more sacrificial power would need to be consumed. And this process forcefully accelerates the rules, requiring the consumption of sacrificial power to be 30 times that of a normal resurrection. This means that a forced resurrection after death will consume 300 sacrificial power points, and the consumption is affected by the player's own strength. The stronger the player, the higher the cost of a forced resurrection. At this stage, this is an exorbitantly expensive expense for players, too costly for the average player to afford. Qi Sheng isn't inclined to have players wasting their precious early-stage sacrificial power on quick cooldowns, preferring instead that they spend it on improving their own strength. This is why he has not made the quick resurrection function available to players. After all, players might choose this wasteful method to shorten the cooldown time, which is a complete waste. As for whether he will unlock this function, perhaps in the future, when players are powerful enough that the sacrificial power they generate in an hour is sufficient to cover the losses from the quick resurrection cooldown, he will consider making it available to players. Not paying too much attention to the enthusiastic battles of the veteran team, Qi Sheng's gaze now shifts towards the perspectives of other novice players. This batch of recruited players started their game during the rampaging Black Tide phase, choosing a different growth method than previous batches. They didn't choose mining, but confronted the Black Tide directly. Compared to the veterans' dominant lawn-mowing mode, the novices chose to scavenge. Another charge is beginning at this moment. The charging force is about 800 strong, 3/4 of which are veterans. After rushing out of Imperial Tomb Village, they switch to monster form and collide head-on with the Black Tide, while novice players follow behind, looking for isolated demonic spirits to team up and kill. In the meantime, the voice chat channel is exceptionally lively. These veterans are too fierce. Killing demonic spirits is like slicing vegetables for them. We can barely kill one with a combined effort. It's exhausting. Look at them, giant snakes over 10 meters long, rolling and shaking the ground. Then look at me, a 1-meter snake. The size difference is too great. I'm so jealous. Wow, bow and fire form looks so cool. I really want to know what it feels like to unleash and controlling flame. Hope I can embed a bone fire life soul soon. Can anyone introduce what life soul characteristic the purple lance comes with? Holding it looks so cool. Killing a row with a single strike, love it. Hey guys, why is there white mist around the mouth of the player next to me every time he breathes in? Is he smoking in the game? Seems intense. What's this about? Can someone enlighten us novices? Veteran players mostly communicate within guild voice channels or team voice channels, while the local area voice chat is flooded with novices' exclamations. These newcomers to the game are extremely curious about the things in Monster World. They occasionally marvel at the veterans' impressive moves, envious of them. Whenever a solitary Black Tide demonic spear flies by, they swarm it and launch a group beatdown. By comparison, the vast majority of veterans are fully engaged in grinding monsters, too lazy to bother with novices. To the veterans, Black Tide demonic spirits represent both evolution points and sacrificial power, and can also be converted into real-world currency. The feeling of killing demonic spirits and bursting with gold coins is thrilling to them, leaving them with no inclination to care about novices. Only a few helpful veterans are willing to form teams to level up with novices, taking time to replace the guiding avatar in teaching novices the basics of Monster World through the team voice channel. As Qi Sheng's gaze continually shifts, he suddenly receives feedback from guidance, and his view switches to a player team in the direction of Artifact Spirit Valley. At this moment, the squad battling nearby witnesses a scarlet luminescence converge, forming a spherical floating object. The scene also attracts the attention of the team members, and as they watch curiously, ripples appear on the surface of the spherical object, warping and changing its shape, eventually forming a creature with 2 horns atop its head and resembling a puppy. Its body seems to be made of a black mist that sometimes thins into streams and sometimes consolidates into shape, quite like a Black Tide demonic spirit. Right now, it's curiously surveying its surroundings with sapphire-like eyes, and then looks up and utters a shriek. Joe. Information analysis also presents itself in the minds of the team players at this moment. Flowing Shadow, 2nd Generation Primordial. Hunting Level 1. Monster Introduction. A special 2nd Generation Primordial monster that controls the power of avatars. It can create an avatar with 20% of the physical strength of the main body by consuming spiritual power and control the avatar through consciousness. Guidance annotation. The number of avatars you can create is influenced by your own spiritual strength. In theory, you can create an infinite number of avatars, provided you have enough spiritual strength to split your consciousness to control and maintain the avatar's consumption. Upon seeing the analysis information, team members' eyes widened. The team leader immediately turned to look at the guiding avatar floating next to him. Guidance, what's going on here? Primordial monsters, aside from those of you inheriting the Emperor's power who can kill and contain them, no other creatures in Monster World can truly kill primordial monsters. Even if they die, they will respawn with the turn of the world, re-emerging at a random location. To put it simply, you've had the good luck of encountering a primordial monster that was killed and respawned. Feels great to stumble upon this, doesn't it? Guidance answers in a lazy tone. Upon learning the truth, the team members look at each other and without hesitation lunge towards Flowing Shadow, still raising its head and calling out. Boom! An ink-colored fireball hits the ground, creating a crater. Flowing Shadow is instantly killed, turning into black mist which the nearby guiding avatar absorbs and then transports to the containment wall underground. Under Qi Sheng's perception view, the dark mist inside the containment wall recondensed. At this moment, a blue energy hose extended from above the crystal wall and connected to Flowing Shadow's back. Immediately, bright red energy began to be continuously extracted from within Flowing Shadow, flowing into the sacrificial pool beneath Imperial Tomb Village. At the same time, Challenger tips resonated across all channels. Challenger tips, all channels. Congratulations player. Jungle Huang Fei Hong, Top Dong Hai Chuan, Mid Huyuanjia, Bot Sun Lutong, support my Yongjin, on containing the second-generation primordial monster, Flowing Shadow, and earning a sacrificial power reward. 20,000, shared among squad members. Challenger tips, all channels. Life Soul library updated with primordial monster Life Soul, Flowing Shadow, avatar. The successful containment message instantly caused an uproar in the regional chat channel. All players were asking about the process of containing a second-generation primordial, as well as the difficulty of doing so. Squad leader Jungle Huang Fei Hong even received a constant stream of friend requests, the majority coming from leaders of major guilds, all looking to purchase the 20,000 points of sacrificial power their squad had earned from defeating the primordial. The sudden influx of wealth left the squad members somewhat dazed. After blocking private messages and friend requests, Jungle Huang Fei Hong decided to post the breakdown information of Flowing Shadow in the regional chat channel, adding one sentence. Attachment, Flowing Shadow analysis. Guys, stop DMing and sending friend requests. Our squad isn't part of the working party. We don't sell sacrificial power. Upon seeing the dissection of Flowing Shadow, the regional chat channel was filled with cries of despair. The hunting level 1 displayed in the information about Flowing Shadow felt like a bayonet stabbing into the hearts of many players. They could accept other players obtaining primordial monsters through tough battles, but they simply couldn't stomach the luck-driven, effortless containment. Why do I have to log in now? Why do they have to show me the successful containment notification? Why did I have to click to see the analysis? Do you know how painful it is for me, who was happily mowing the lawn, to see that analysis? Explore emoji suffering cry. Level 1 second generation primordial. I'm sure this is the initial refresh after a primordial monster's death mentioned in the guidance, and you guys just happened to encounter it. You really deserve to die. Why couldn't this luck be mine? Are you gambling with your life in the game? How is this different from finding a crate full of money on the roadside? It's not that I can't see others do well, but you guys are too lucky. I can't accept this. Give me a moment to breathe and recover from this critical hit. After seeing my sacrificial power balance earned from 3 hours of hard work, then looking at the top pinned containment reward number, woo, this is unfair. I want it too. The cries of agony in the regional voice channel filled the screen, and after briefly browsing through, Qi Sheng withdrew his consciousness. He raised his hand, shifting from his human form to the Emperor's omen form. His head transformed into a flaming bright red blaze, rapidly spreading over his body. As he raised his hand, an aura symbolizing the primordial power appeared, orbiting around his body. Within this ring of aura, 18 different colored orbs were attached, each representing a type of primordial power. After the players contained the second-generation primordial Flowing Shadow, his strength had improved further. This feeling was indeed marvelous. He could clearly sense that his control and use of Emperor's signal origin had become more skilled, as if an instruction manual had been implanted into his mind along with the successful containment. In a fleeting thought, the primordial features of Flowing Shadow activated. One of the black orbs in the orbiting light track around his body burst with light, and with the consumption of internal energy, an avatar replicating his body condensed beside him. After a brief test, Qi Sheng waved his hand to disperse the avatar and shifted his consciousness to the player forum. According to the guidance feedback, an interesting post had appeared on the forum seconds ago. As he read the content of the post, he couldn't help but laugh silently. Divine Hall Guild recruiting strong players. The guild offers extra salary daily. Excellent treatment. Poster, Divine King. Content. Having Reborn, I plan to spend 1 billion in in-game currency to become stronger. Initially, everyone thought Darkland was just a groundbreaking virtual game, but what they don't know is that in a year the black tide would descend upon reality. Others mock me for spending 1 billion as bitter and foolish, but only I am clearly aware that when the game servers shut down, when the spiritual energy recovers, and evil spirits descend, by then endless darkness will envelop the earth, and game attributes will be reflected in reality, and I will be crowned as king. Now recruiting high-level players. Requirement Life Soul level 15+, single one is enough. I will lead you to conquer the black tide and ascend to divinity on the day of apocalypse. Comments section. Hamster Party players. Okay, I've received the insider news. Quick delete the post before they also see it. I will definitely seize the chance to become stronger and open a resource supermarket the day darkness falls, selling resources at 10 times the price in reality. Exploration faction emoji got this. Divine Wings. Holy crap, brothers from Divine Hall Guild too? Bro, are you really ready to spend 1 billion? But in this game, sacrificial power is scarce. You can't buy enough sacrificial power with money. The resources produced by several working teams of players have already been pre-ordered by leaders of some guilds. Even if you spend 10 billion, it's useless. Exploration faction emoji depressed sigh. Vosni Butterfly. Damn Divine Hall, the grudge from our conquest continues in this game. Watch our drunken group explode you. Divine King replies to Vosni Butterfly. Stop messing around. Our guild members are all newbies just entering the game. Please show more care and less violence. Also, can you provide some sacrificial power to let the old friends cultivate first, then consider doing battle? Hey, you're revealing such a huge secret just like that? Who would dare to sell you sacrificial power now? Wouldn't everyone spend it on improving themselves, fearing to become weak when the apocalypse of darkness falls? You should be quietly gathering sacrificial power, stealthily becoming stronger, and stun everyone a year later. Funny.jpg. Waste recycling station. Terrifying to encounter a Reborn in the game. I know this news is true, because I'm also a Reborn player. When darkness falls, I will make my move, transforming into a level 1000 sky-swallowing python in the real world wreaking havoc, so it's not a big problem. This post's content left Qi Sheng speechless. Through the guidance investigation, it could be confirmed that the poster Divine King was just joking and playing on memes. But the mentioned content will indeed become a reality one day. It's just that the time of the Dark Knight's arrival isn't in a year, leaving players ample time to grow. When that day truly comes, he would reflect the player's ability into reality, and the real money system would collapse completely, and sacrificial power would become the common currency for human and alien race players. So, converting real money into game sacrificial power is actually a very forward-thinking investment. But this secret, apart from himself and the four servants, nobody knows. Primordial Altar. Qi Sheng quickly scrolled through the newly launched trading house function list with his mind. The interface of the trading house, he designed it to be very attractive. At the top of the interface is a row of category tags, divided into armed items, resource materials, spirit plant, spiritual, or rare life souls, tradable for those of 4th rank and above, custom weapon items, and several other major categories, each with more detailed subcategories below to help players quickly locate the products they're interested in. Players just need to touch the category product column with their mind, and the corresponding list unfolds from left to right like a scroll. The central area of the interface is the product display area, featuring dynamic 3D models that can be dragged and rotated for viewing. On the right side of the interface is a convenient search box, where players can quickly find specific products by entering keywords or narrow down their search range with filter conditions such as price range, durability, and whether overpricing is acceptable. At the very bottom of the interface is the scrolling announcement of the transaction history, updating the latest transaction information in real time. The left side of the interface is set up with options such as transaction history, favorites, etc., to help players manage their own transaction information and track price fluctuations of products of interest. Every item in the display area can be clicked to see a detailed introduction, as well as notes from the seller. But among the products sold recently, there have been many that are ridiculously priced, with notes that are laughable. Especially when sorted by the highest price, the product descriptions are all extremely magical. Mining pickaxe, durability, 1. Selling player, lowly carrying a cannon. Price, 999,999, sacrificial power. Note, 0.01%, as good as new, my own big girl's helper, a good companion in the dark cave. It witnessed my hard work in the dim environment, brought me the startup funds for growth. If it weren't for the lack of money to open star vein slots, I would absolutely not sell it. Stone, ordinary. Selling player, staying up all night cultivation. Price, 999,999, sacrificial power. Note, yes, this is the stone I picked up by the roadside of Imperial Tomb Village. It was also the first combat item I used after entering the game. It hurts a lot when used to hit someone. My battle record is checkable, has extraordinary significance to me, painfully reluctant to part with it. You can take it home for a mere 6.9's price. If you're broke, don't even look. You can't afford this divine artifact anyway. Broken blade, damaged. Selling player, unknown, identity hidden. Price, 999,999, sacrificial power. Note, divine artifact from the ancient battlefield. Don't look at it as a worn short blade. In fact, it has gone through countless springs and autumns. Time has engraved indelible marks on it. It used to be a brave warrior's loyal companion. Witnessed the sky-covered warfare of the ancient battlefield, and also accompanied the lonely vigil of the warrior through the night. The tiny cracks, and where marks are scars left after numerous confrontations with the enemy, those varying depth scratches. Recorded the enemies it had cut down, and also remembered those irrevocable sacrifices. The broken edge shows desolation and heroism. It was in the last battle. In order to protect its master, it fought with all its might and finally broke due to fatigue. The sheath has long been lost in the dust of history, leaving only this lonely, broken hilt, like an old soldier who lost his companion, silently telling of past glories and solitude. Whenever night falls, the moonlight casts over the ruins of the ancient battlefield. The broken blade will emit a faint fluorescence. That is its life soul whispering. It is the nostalgia for the past, and also the expectation for the future. Summary. Although I picked up this short blade on the ancient battlefield, it records a tragic history of war, has extraordinary significance, just 6.9's, and you can take it home for permanent collection. There are many more shenanigans products with high asking prices in the trading house. Players who list such products never really thought they could sell them. After all, no player could afford such prices, and not even Qi Sheng, the mastermind behind the scenes, has the power to buy. It's purely to play tricks in the trading house to attract attention. Other than the shenanigans products, the mainstream products in the trading house are all priced below 200 sacrificial power points. For example, the Doomsday Technology Guild's munitions that they sell, their trading mode has changed from private messages and remote transactions to selling via the trading house, and they sell quite a bit every day in the custom items category. Among all the consigned items, the price of Iron Shell Bug Silk has soared the most. When the trading house function first went online, the price of Iron Shell Bug Silk was 50 sacrificial power points per portion, and today, it has risen to 85 sacrificial power points per portion. Compared to the 4 sacrificial power points feedback when initially sacrificing to Emperor Zhao, the price has increased by more than 20-fold. The reason for the price surge is related to a group of fishing faction players that emerged in the game. Iron Shell Bug Silk is the only material option for making fishing line at the current stage. The launch of the trading house has made players' growth more efficient. Especially the section for purchase requests in the trading house function has brought convenience to players with needs. A large number of players post their needs there, such as buying sacrificial power with cash, buying resources with cash, and paying for leveling services with cash, etc. Players can directly find their target group through the purchase request section of the trading house without needing to spam regional channels. Players who want to sell services can also hang their service introduction information in the trading house and wait for players in need to contact them privately. After 5 days online, the usage rate of the trading house among players is getting higher and higher. Having checked the trading house information, Qi Sheng shifted his attention to the forum, flipping through the posts on the popularity list. The number 1 post on the hot list is the Star Vein Combination Strategy post. The latest Life Soul Flowing Shadow is too strong. It's strong because it's strong in everything, truly an all-rounder Life Soul. Here's a demo for everyone to see. Poster, Dark Night will come. Content, no need for a long intro, going straight to the video demo, attachment, record a video. Qi Sheng clicks on the video. The footage shows Dark Night will come doing practical tests of the 2nd generation primordial trait, Flowing Shadow, at the test tower. The test lasts for an hour. It showcases 4 different star vein combination modes with a Flowing Shadow characteristic. The first combination is Bone Fire plus Flowing Shadow, plus Eagle-Headed Demon, plus Energy Absorption. This star vein combination in the demo is like cheating. First, Dark Night will come activates Flowing Shadow, creating 3 avatars, each using the Ink Flame ability from Bonefire. Then locates targets with the perception of the Eagle-Headed Demon to perform ranged attacks with both the original body and the avatars. Although the avatars only have 30% of the physical fitness of the original body, their attack efficiency is greatly enhanced with their help. Dark Night will come named this star vein combination Avatar Fireball Technique. The final review section states that this combination has a very high attack efficiency. The downside is that sustaining avatars continuously drains spiritual power. Moreover, both the original body and avatars using Ink Flame increases spiritual power consumption rate, leading to insufficient endurance. Even incorporating energy absorption can't fill the drain fast enough. Its biggest advantage is the ability to deliver burst damage in a short time. The second combination is Light Shield plus Bondage plus Energy Absorption plus Flowing Shadow, named by Dark Night will come as Magic Defense Stream. With the feature of this star vein combination being to forsake attack power, the players who choose this school only need to activate avatars to put up light shields for teammates, or use both the original body and avatars for multiple control, playing a functional role, and the practical test performance is excellent. The third combination is Stone Statue Ghost plus Power Barbarian Axe plus Resistance plus Flowing Shadow, named by Dark Night, will come as Multiple Entanglement Stream. This Star Vein school is also focused on melee control first, attack second. In the demo footage, Dark Night will come summons 3 avatars to rush at the demonstration enemy, each grabbing the enemy's hands, feet, and body. After joining hands, they activate Petrification form, instantly rendering the entangled target unable to move. A player in Petrification form engaged by avatars can't break free. It's like a humanoid prison, with a single person able to accomplish multiple entanglements in battle. The fourth combination, Dark Night will come, didn't use any life soul, but instead took out a mining pickaxe in the test scene. In the human form, he divides into 3 avatars to start a mining efficiency test. Mining efficiency in the test is exponentially increased, and as life soul level of Flowing Shadow increases, one can control more avatars. Theoretically, one person could form an entire mining team. Once the strategy post was published, the number of comments surged quickly. Darklands is really fun. Brother hey you're gonna kill me with laughter, what's with the last one? A mining team at full efficiency is hilarious, but this Flowing Shadow life soul is indeed strong, worthy of 2nd generation primordial, seems like it can be mixed with any Star Vein school. Beaver, haha, out of these 4 Star Vein schools, I favor the mining team the most. Mining efficiency is maxed out. 1 dig equals others digging n times. Mining party players must be ecstatic. It's like an official mining speed-up script from the devs. Preschool group, Zainai. Group Fireball technique is so cool. Pull out 10 avatars and cast fireballs, activating Meteor Fire Rain to cover and strike. 1 man as an army. Just thinking about it feels awesome. Firepower is maxed out, but the spiritual power consumption is a big issue. Life Force Inhalation trait can't hold up. Hope to soon include Sea Stone Life Soul from the Test Tower Life Soul library. That's the core Life Soul for the magic system, with a special ability that recovers spiritual power at a wicked fast rate. Preschool group, Tai Chu A. Stone Statue Ghost plus Flowing Shadows Entanglement Flow is too devilishly hilarious. It makes me laugh. Reminds me of a few friends I met when I first entered the game. They love playing with the black armored snake entanglement tactic. Explorer, Brother Hey Yi truly loves star vein combination gameplay. Studying star vein combinations every day, learn a lot of good stuff following you. Thanks for sharing tip. 3 Sacrificial Power. Shattering Will. After watching Brother Hey Yi's strategy video, I thought of a weapon flow star vein combination, the original body summoning artifact spirits, plus avatars summoning artifact spirits, forming a barrage of weapon flow battle mode. Brother Hey, can you make a test video? See if it's feasible. Dark Knight Will Come, original poster. Replies to Shattering Will. Just from your description, it doesn't seem feasible. The first consideration with any flowing shadow combination is the endurance of spiritual power. You chose all close combat artifact spirits, which are already weak in spiritual strength. Add in summoning a bunch of avatars, controlling a large number of artifact spirits in battle, and your spiritual power will be drained in no time, not suited for sustained combat. The Fierce Little Monster. Such a versatile life soul, but seems tiring to use. I still prefer the Star Vein School Shadow Army. That Brother Hey Yi first posted, Shadow Summon combined with stacking various buffs, is too enjoyable. Most importantly, the Shadow Warriors are equipped with an intelligent AI system, capable of receiving commands to hunt and slay monsters automatically. In critical moments, you can also control and command with the mind. If I had this Star Vein combination, I'd let 4 Shadow Warriors carry me while the rest of the Shadow Warriors stack buffs and go hunting monsters. I'd just lie down, browse forums, watch live streams, and indulge in the pleasure of evolution points and sacrificial power rewards popping up in my mind from time to time. Just thinking about it feels delightful. Dark Knight Will Come, original poster. Replies to the Fierce Little Monster. Stop daydreaming. We haven't collected any of the life souls needed for the Shadow Army flow. God of Wealth Helpless.jpg. The second generation primordial flowing shadow, life soul freshly contained in this post, is played with flair. Dark Knight Will Come, who posted the strategy, is already one of Qi Sheng's closely monitored players. Every time a new life soul is contained, this player would head to the test tower for combination testing, always managing to bring new ideas into play, providing other players with fresh perspectives on life soul combinations. Such strategy party players have played a significant role in boosting the development of the player core. For this reason, Qi Sheng would also have guidance create a sub-account to give small amounts of sacrificial power as rewards to valuable posts, enhancing the forum's creative atmosphere. After scanning all the new posts in the forum in seconds, Qi Sheng's focus shifted to the perspective of players exploring outside. During these days of combat against the Black Tide army, Qi Sheng noticed that the intensity of the Black Tide had changed. Led by the Earth-thought evil spirits, the Low Tide in its early burst phase generally had Black Tide demonic spirits with strengths between level 1 to 3 and an average hunting level of 2, as per guidance statistics. For veteran players, combating the Black Tide demonic spirits was merely an exhilarating mode of mowing down the enemy. Even new players could exchange blows with the Black Tide demonic spirits, and once they leveled up, they could easily handle them, the only threat from the Black Tide to players being their overwhelming numbers. After 6 days of progression, the Black Tide, devouring the spirit plants and monsters in the Emperor 2 mountain range, has noticeably increased in strength, especially since 1 day prior, when the Black Tide successfully occupied the domain node Cloud Field deep within the Grey Mist Forest, significantly boosting its strength. The energy stored in the corrosion core was completely devoured by the Black Tide, increasing the average hunting level of the Black Tide demonic spirits from 2 to 4. This is one of the most terrifying aspects of the Black Tide. Under the shine of the evil moon, corrosion cores are nurtured and born. They typically entangle themselves in areas rich in energy, especially around domain nodes. These corrosion cores possess a certain intelligence and attack any life daring to approach. However, corrosion cores do not resist the power of the Black Tide. Through the feedback images from guidance, Qi Sheng saw that upon contact with the Black Tide, the corrosion core in the depths of the Grey Mist Forest actively dismantled its defenses, merged with the Black Tide energy, becoming part of the Black Tide, continually providing energy support. The domain nodes, which the player core can only secure through martial struggle, the Black Tide could just waltz in with face recognition, directly accessing the reserved energy of the domain nodes. It can be said that the purpose of corrosion cores is to become part of the Black Tide when it arrives. This is also one reason why the strength of the Black Tide can rapidly increase. At this stage, 3 new forms of demonic spirits birthed from the enhanced Black Tide. According to guidance analysis, Qi Sheng obtained detailed information about these 3 newly born demonic spirits. They are Corruption Tooth Root, Black Tide, Demonic Spirits. Hunting level 5. Target description: a conglomerate of evil vines, its tentacles covered in spikes, possessing vigorous life force, able to swiftly repair damaged parts, primarily by stretching foggy vine tentacles to entangle targets, binding them, and by releasing toxic Black Tide spores to weaken the opponent's state, inducing unconsciousness. Ghost Baby, Black Tide, Demonic Spirits. Hunting level 7. Target introduction: an evil life nurtured in the Black Tide, possessing extremely fast attack and movement speed. Upon death, it explodes, causing corrosion damage to the surrounding enemies. Fox Snake, Black Tide, Demonic Spirits. Hunting level 5. Target introduction: a low-level assassin unit from the Black Tide, possesses a unique body structure, capable of freely moving through the fog, difficult to detect, and can spray a poisonous mist to entangle and continuously paralyze its target. reducing the target's movement efficiency. The three newly added Black Tide monsters are far stronger than previous low-level demonic spirits like evil maggots, dark dogs, and magic fleas. The first batch of Black Tide demonic spirits did not possess combat skills, attacking only through biting, posing limited threat to players. However, the three new low-level Black Tide demonic spirits possess offensive skills. Especially the Ghost Baby with a hunting level of 7 is like a moving, unstable bomb on the battlefield, which will self-destruct if its life structure's stable state is compromised. Many players, due to not dodging in time, were killed by the self-explosion of the Ghost Baby, entering death cooldown. From the initial unstoppable mowing mode, the difficulty of players confronting the Black Tide is climbing rapidly, but so are the rewards. Through this round of Black Tide sweeping through, Qi Sheng personally experienced the terrifying growth rate of the Black Tide. No wonder the Black Tide can ravage other plane worlds, as most worlds' combat systems are difficult to contend with. The Black Tide invading other plane worlds could be considered as a spark thrown into the forest, quickly spreading and swallowing everything along the way, transforming them into energy to strengthen itself, until it becomes a blazing flame engulfing the forest, swallowing the entire world. Unless this spark is extinguished before it ignites, the difficulty of confrontation will only increase over time. And this invading spark is just an insignificant force within the massive main structure of the Horror Black Tide, capable of summoning even more powerful forces to join the battle at any time. This leads to ordinary worlds eventually becoming nutrients for the Black Tide, even if they can achieve temporary victories. Even the monster world is just one of the countless battlefields opened by the Horror Black Tide. Following Yin Ming across other worlds looking for challengers, Qi Sheng also saw many plane worlds corroded by the Horror Black Tide. This is sufficient to show the terrifying nature of the Horror Black Tide. But compared to other worlds, the monster world also has its own advantages. Whether it is the strength of the world structure or the combat system, the monster world is far stronger than those easily swallowed plane worlds. The fact that the Black Tide has not been able to completely devour the monster world to date proves the high strength of this world. This can be seen from the conversations between Evil Eye and Earth Thought Evil Spirit. Evil Eye once narrated an analysis intelligence shared from other nodes to Earth Thought Evil Spirit, indicating that other nodes, Evil Eyes, believe the original creator of a monster world possesses transcendental power not weaker than My Lord. Here, My Lord clearly refers to the manipulator behind the Horror Black Tide. A similar viewpoint was once conveyed to him by guidance, suggesting that if not for Emperor Zhao's resolution, the monster world's comprehensive combat power could well face the Horror Black Tide head-on. This is also why the four great servants chose not to give up, hoping to inherit Emperor Zhao's origin and fight the Black Tide again. Without dwelling much on this issue, Qi Sheng's gaze continued to swiftly shift among different players, observing their performance in the Black Tide. Emperor Tomb Mountain Range. Ancient Battlefield North, Earth's Split Furnace Region. The contiguous volcanoes resemble a giant dragon undulating over the Earth's spine, sprawling across the vast horizon. Magma surges beneath the Earth's crust, accompanied by the smell of sulfur and thick smoke, fiercely spewing out and trickling down from the peaks, eventually cooling and solidifying into bands of rock. The air here is scorching, the environment hostile. At the foot of the volcano, a player squad, facing the rampant assault of Black Tide demonic spirits, pushes forward with difficulty. Haha, we broke the record, advancing to a new area. I can't hold on anymore. Tai Che, take over for me. I'm going back to take some breaths. With that, the player named squad leader quickly retreated and hid behind the team, taking deep breaths and using the energy absorption trait to restore his chi blood and spiritual power. Upon hearing this, Tai Chue took over, facing the chaotic dance of the Black Tide demonic spirits, activating his petrification attribute while shouting, "Hurry up and recover. I'm about to collapse too." At the back of the team, Black Ball, Cute Baby, and Pebbles, each in human form and with two flowing shadow clones controlled by their consciousness, uniformly summoned fireballs to hurl at the surging Black Tide demonic spirits, each holding a spiritual recovery potion in hand to replenish their expended energy. The fireballs fell into the surging mass of evil tides, melting away a large number of evil life entities. Boom! Suddenly, a loud noise erupted, an explosion occurred among the surging Black Tide, and Tai Chue, who was at the very front in his petrification state, was blown several meters away by the blast wave. Damn, another Ghost Baby. How many have we encountered today? So annoying. They always explode upon death. Good thing I had just retreated to regenerate health, or else a hit while weakened would definitely land me in a solitary confinement sulking for an hour. Realizing they accidentally killed a newly spawned Black Tide demonic spirit Ghost Baby, the players began complaining on the voice channel. The strength of the Black Tide rose, breeding 3 kinds of new demonic spirits. Among them, Ghost Baby was the most troublesome, capable of killing by exploding upon death unintentionally. But the explosion from Ghost Baby also cleared an area of the surging Black Tide, broadening the child group's visibility. Then, Zue Nai and the team suddenly pointed up to the sky. "Look up there, big guy." Following the direction Zue Nai pointed, players saw a giant red beast with wings battling an unknown creature amidst dark red clouds, each flap of its wings tearing apart the clouds. But the distance was too great for the child group players to see clearly what creature the giant beast was fighting. Just then, the sky giant suddenly plummeted from the sky like a meteor, rubbing against the air and igniting flames, charging towards the direction where the child group members were. We're done for. We're about to be crushed. As the distance closed, the child group players didn't even consider dodging. But just when the sky giant was less than 100 meters from the ground, it flapped its wings violently and forcibly stabilized in midair before spewing a jet of blue fluid. At that moment, the child group finally saw the details of the sky giant. Flame Spirit, First Generation Origin. Hunting Level, 138. Source Introduction. A first-generation primordial monster possessing the power of soul fire. Its flames can sear the soul, inducing continuous suffering in the target. Soul fire attacks bypass physical defense, directly affecting the soul, with the damage influenced by the target's spiritual strength. Damn, a level 138 first-generation origin, so fierce. Raised on steroids? This first-generation origin could easily crush a fourth-generation Qi die. Through the guidance explanation, the child group members understood that in Monster World settings, the hunting level of primordial monsters is not related to their generation. A generational designation only proves potential for growth. Theoretically, a first-generation primordial monster can also have a very high hunting level, capable of easily killing primordial monsters with higher growth talents than itself. But the child group players were still shocked by the hunting level of the Flame Spirit. This primordial monster strength was far stronger than any previously contained by the player faction, even surpassing all previously contained primordial monsters combined. Roar! A gale mixed with a shockwave swept by, causing the players of the child group to grimace and crouch down. The Flame Spirit beast flapped its wings again, enveloped in a fierce red blaze, glanced down at the direction where the blue fluid it spewed was falling, then transformed into a red streak of light and shot towards the sky, disappearing into the clouds in the blink of an eye. I almost thought I'd be sent to solitary confinement. Can't believe we survived. Phew, even though it's just a game, the oppressive feeling from the Flame Spirit is so strong, my heart uncontrollably accelerates. It's too thrilling. What a pity it got away. If it dared to land, I'd slide over and slash it with fierce poison for its little life. Idiot Blackball, can't you go a day without blowing your own trumpet? Your slide would only be good for picking its teeth. The lucky survivors of the child group chatted and boasted in the chat channel, creating a jovial atmosphere. At this moment, Tai Chue proposed an idea. It seemed like the blue fluid sprayed by the Flame Spirit encased something. Did you see it? It did seem like it, but it wasn't very clear. Do you want to check it out? Zoe and I looked at Tai Chue puzzled. Yeah, let's check it out. The bold ones thrive, the timid ones starve. Worst comes to worst, we face the wall in solitary confinement. After hearing Tai Chue's thoughts, the members of the child group unanimously agreed, believing that this game was designed with many Easter egg opportunities, where sometimes inconspicuous discoveries could lead to significant gains in sacrificial power. For instance, a very lucky player on the forum found a strange machine out of curiosity about what was underneath a pit, accidentally triggering a massive opportunity reward. When they learned of this news, they were so envious that their eyes turned red. This also led them to develop a habit, never to miss any Easter egg storylines in the game. Just now, the arrival of the Flame Spirit, in the eyes of the child group players, could be understood as the accidental triggering of an Easter egg storyline, with the blue substance it spat out possibly being part of the storyline's extension. Missing it would mean giving up on the triggered Easter egg story. Buy medicine from the shop, replenish your status, the black tide is coming. Tai Chue glanced at the direction where the blue liquid fell, pulled out a red potion bottle, and guzzled it down, then walked to the very front of the team, facing the oncoming black tide demonic spirits. Half an hour later, after a difficult advance, the child group players finally arrived at the place where the blue liquid fell. After killing the black tide demonic spirits in the area, they saw it was wrapped in the blue liquid. It was a small animal that looked like a kitten with short limbs, covered in a layer of fine and soft blue fur. Its breathing was as faint as a thread, and its body trembled slightly with each breath as it seemed to be trying hard to maintain its vitality. A circle of faint blue clouds surrounded it, adding a mysterious aura to this seemingly frail life. The most distinct characteristic on its body was the diamond-shaped, three-dimensional imprint on its forehead, like a blue sapphire set within, twinkling faintly under the light of the evil moon. Their gaze focused, and the analysis information appeared in the minds of the child group players. Infinite, 6th generation source. Hunting level, 29. Near death. Source introduction. A primordial monster that masters the power of infinity. Its own strength will increase or decrease with each world judgment roll. Challenger tips. Killing a 6th generation source yields additional life, soul rewards, tradable. Holy fuck, X15. Seeing the analysis information of this little kitten, the child group members were taken aback. This turned out to be a 6th generation source. Before this, the strongest source generation they had seen was a 4th generation Qi die, which had never been contained. Yet, unexpectedly, they had fortuitously stumbled upon a near-death 6th generation source. its value was evident without contemplating. Killing it would certainly bring about a huge gain in sacrificial power. After a brief shock, the members of the child group decisively took action, fearing that any sudden accident might lead to a lost opportunity to contain it. Already weakened, the Infinite was completely killed by the ferocious assault of the child group members, turning into a cloud of blue mist that was absorbed by a nearby, guiding avatar. Instantly, a warning echoed in the minds of all players. Congratulations to the player team preschool group for successfully containing the 6th-generation primordial monster. Infinite, awarded with 100,000 sacrificial power, shared among team players. Additionally obtained 15 Infinite, 6th-generation primordial life souls. Infinite, 6th-generation source. Primordial traits introduction. Every 36 hours, a world judgment roll can be undertaken. Upon conclusion, its own strength will either be enhanced or reduced. At initial level 1, strength fluctuation is 1% to 500%, and the higher the life soul level of Infinite is, the greater the range of fluctuation, with the chance of outcome being influenced by world destiny. Life soul asking price. None. Players can obtain through forthcoming event activities. The sudden channel-wide notification set off a frenzy in the forums and regional voice channels, with countless holy fuck messages being spammed. The rewarded members of the child group were so excited that they embraced each other and cheered, amidst the intermingling of applause and shouts. After celebrating, they opened the star vein feature list, deciding to embed the Infinite life soul. Tai Chue, leading the group, peeled off and decomposed the Resistance life soul from the 3rd star vein slot. He glanced towards the space bag panel on the right side of the interface, where in the 2nd row, 5th slot, hovered a diamond-shaped blue life soul, resembling a die. Dragging it with his consciousness to the 3rd position in the star vein slot to complete the embedding, he immediately felt unknown changes occurring within his body, as if some mysterious force was coursing through him. From the initial intensity to calmness, it took only a few seconds. After the embedding, the method to use the unlimited life soul was already imprinted in his mind. Opening his eyes, he attempted to release the special ability of Infinite. Instantly, a blue energy die materialized in front of him, with each side carved with fine and intricate rune patterns, continuously jumping and changing over time, presenting different colors. With the ability activated, the die began to rotate automatically, faster and faster. It finally stopped on a black symbol, which rapidly enlarged before Tai Chue's eyes until it completely engulfed his vision. The Challenger tips also rang out in his mind. Challenger tips. Life Soul characteristic ability, Infinite, activated. Roll result 8. Repelled by the world's power. Own strength reduced by 92%. All embedded life souls affected. Duration 35 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. As the prompt sounded, an intense feeling of weakness enveloped Tai Chue. His vision dimmed, and his heavy body felt like it was shouldering a huge burden, with even breathing becoming exceedingly difficult, requiring effort from his entire body. Damn it! Realizing he was cursed with the non-chief's luck, rolling a despairing number and suppressed by the world rules, Tai Chue's expression turned extremely ugly. At that moment, malicious laughter came from beside him. Turning around, Zue Nai was surrounded by a halo of blue light, raising his hand to condense a fireball. This ink flame fireball was completely different from the ones he had launched before, with a twisted vortex forming at the heart of the burning ink-colored flames, and the surface of the fireball wrapped in black material, jumping like electric arcs, the surging energy waves expanding outward in rings from the center of the fireball. So easy to get a 5-fold enhancement, this is too exhilarating. Saying this, Zui Nai looked over at Tai Chue, who had a constipated expression. Ah, our bro Tai Chue seems to be down on his luck, looking kinda weak. Hearing Zui Nai's smug taunting, Tai Chue couldn't help but flipping the bird. May you roll a 1 next time. Come support me. I feel like I'm about to collapse. By this time, the other teammates had also finished rolling, receiving the state buffs determined by the world judgment, but in the team, only Zue Nai, Black Ball, and Squad Leader received enhancements. Everyone else had their stats weakened. This left the members of the child group somewhat dumbfounded. The effect of the unlimited trait didn't seem as strong as they had imagined, and they couldn't understand why, within the fluctuating range of 1% to 500%, the probability for weakening judgment was so high. To resolve their confusion, Tai Chue, leading the discussion, decided to post a help request in the forums. Guys, big problem, the effect of the 6th generation source doesn't seem as powerful as we imagined. Poster, preschool group, Tai Chue. Content, cough cough, hold off on the insults, I'm sure everyone has seen the hint. We were lucky to finish off a dying 6th generation source, but we're having trouble using the ability. The current situation is, out of 15 rolls, only 3 people received enhancements. The remaining 12 are in weakened states. The probability of getting an enhanced state seems quite low. I don't know if we're just unlucky or if there's actually a problem with the probabilities. Can some pro analyze the situation for us? The post by the child group member quickly attracted a lot of player attention, with strategy party players also joining in the comments. Dark night will come. First off, I have to curse you guys, you're so dead. How many years of lifespan did you burn to stumble upon a 6th generation source? Let me analyze and explain your situation. The unlimited life soul states in the introduction that judgment probabilities are affected by world destiny. which is clearly the reason for the higher probability of your weakening judgments. I understand world destiny as a kind of special attribute similar to fortune. There's no introduction of this attribute in the current stage of the game, but it's certain that the fortune attribute must exist. I've tested 2 life souls related to fortune in the Life Soul library of the test tower. Here are the analysis screenshots of the 2 life souls. Luck, 4th tier Primordial Life Soul. Primordial Traits Introduction. After embedding this life soul, receive the Monster World Destiny Blessing. Fortune gets a boost. Fortune's Bond, 5th tier Primordial Life Soul. Primordial Traits Introduction. After embedding this life soul, receive the Monster World Destiny Blessing. Fortune gets a boost. These 2 life souls performed extremely poorly in evaluations, with 0 effect on enhancing combat abilities. I had opened a Life Soul Strength poll, and both of these life souls were classified in the 10 weakest life souls list, high tiers but with no practical use found. The performance in tests was the same, embedded with Luck and Fortune's Bond. Simulated monster damage to me was not reduced by a notch, no lucky dodges. But now I understand the functions of these 2 life souls. The effects of enhanced fortune only come into play when life souls with probability judgments are possessed. Just like the infinite life souls you are currently using when combined with Fortune's Bond and Luck, or even in the future when embedding and collecting other similar fortune-boosting life souls, the infinite life soul will become incredibly powerful. With various fortune buffs, the probability of throwing enhanced effects will inevitably increase significantly. Theoretically, if you embed a bunch of fortune-enhanced life souls, you could always throw into an enhanced state. More importantly, the range of 1% to 500% is only for level 1 infinite life souls. If you level up the infinite life soul to level 10, 20, the fluctuation range will increase. Imagine, if a level 100 infinite life soul provides an enhancement fluctuation of 1% to 5,000%. Just think how terrifying the enhancement effect could be if you're lucky after making the throw. What about a level 500 infinite life soul? The characteristic of the infinite life soul, though dependent on luck, has an extremely high upper limit, absolutely dwarfing the strength of all existing life souls. The downside is that its lower limit is the lowest among all life souls. If unlucky, its power is far less than that of the first-generation source life soul. If you roll a 1% with poor inherent qualities, I fear a sudden gust of wind might kill you. Based on the above analysis, without the enhancement of fortune-type life souls, the infinite life soul can only occasionally be thrilling. It is not recommended for non-chief players to embed and use. As for the players who have already embedded it, my suggestion is to continue using it. After all, once the embedded life soul is peeled off, it will be decomposed, and you won't be able to buy it again, as the only infinite life soul in the game is not open for sale. Preschool group, Tai Chue, original poster. Reply to Dark Knight will come. Thanks for Brother Hey Yes analysis. Now I see what it's all about. Vosni Butterfly. I'm not interested in life souls that require luck judgment, but I'm interested in the sacrificial power you guys generate from source. Hurry up and contact me. Tai Chue, it's been a long time since I've seen you produce sacrificial power. If you don't sell sacrificial power, how can I become stronger? God of Wealth with a heartfelt smile. .jpg. Soul Hooker. Hello lucky player. Looking at my game ID, you should know what my job is. I want to ask if you've had your fun. If you're done having fun, it's time to hit the road with me, as your lifespan has been exhausted. Don't use your life for gaming in your next life. God of Wealth delivering a blow. .jpg. Primordial Altar. Qi Sheng gazed into the 18th cell of the containment wall, where the infinite was being held, processing the information fed back by guidance. This 6th-generation source can produce 15,000 units of sacrificial power for him every hour, accumulating to a daily income of 360,000 units of sacrificial power. The good fortune of the kindergarten members has brought him a continuous, massive sacrificial power income. With this 6th-generation source, the process of recruiting players will also be accelerated. The reason he hasn't made the infinite life soul available for other players to buy and use is primarily due to its special nature. Without the appropriate fortune-type life soul enhancements, the randomness of the infinite life soul's characteristics is too great, which may not necessarily have a positive effect on player growth. Random low-point judgment could completely deprive players of combat capabilities within 36 hours. Suppose the player core were at war with the Black Tide, and all players performed a world judgment roll. If the majority of the player's strength was diminished, this could severely impact the direction of the war. For Qi Sheng, who aims to build a powerful player core, stable income is much more important than uncertain gains. From the perspective of stable development, such purely luck-based life souls are not suitable for mass distribution. Therefore, he has shut down the sales channel for unlimited life soul, opting for a chance distribution in future events, such as lottery activities. Only when he has contained a large number of life souls related to enhancing fortune will he consider fully opening the purchase rights for the infinite life soul. The evil moon shone brightly, and ash-like willow catkins fluttered down from the sky like snowflakes, corroding the earth. Countless evil life gathered into a tide of destruction, ravaging the Emperor Tomb mountain range. North of the ancient battlefield, the earth-split furnace region. Qi Sheng's gaze swept over the land from high above, seeing a large number of players gathering here, engaging in a desperate battle with the oncoming Black Tide demonic spirits, with a continuous supply of players reinforcing the front line's dwindling strength. Hours ago, a team of players discovered something strange while exploring the Earth-split furnace region. The rampaging evil spirits were organized in excavating underground spirit stones and transporting them en masse to the north. Players were unclear about the purpose of the evil spirits, but they were very interested in robbing the evil spirits' transported spiritual ore. After the fierce battle, this small team of players seized a batch of spiritual ore transported by the evil spirits, and the spoils were quite substantial after sacrifice statistics. This news, posted on the forum by players, attracted the attention of various guilds, who organized people to join the plundering action. Today, an even larger joint operation of plundering launched by the major guilds took place. During this time, Qi Sheng's consciousness followed the evil spirit teams transporting the spiritual ore and discovered that the ultimate destination of this batch of spiritual ore was the tower where the earth thought evil spirit resided. The transported spiritual ore was thrown into the furnace at the center of the tower and smelted, transforming into the energy needed for the growth of the black tide. But there was a question that puzzled Qi Sheng here. Given that the black tide possessed the trait of devouring all energy, why go through the time and effort of transporting to obtain the energy from within the spirit stones, when it could simply devour the spiritual ore on the spot and fuse the internal energy into the black tide? Guidance provided an answer to this question, stating that during the low tide state, the black tide's efficiency of devouring and transforming was not high. For stable substances, such as spirit stone, the loss incurred in the transformation process was very high after being devoured, but sending it to be smelted at the Evil Eye Tower could maximize the transformation efficiency. This was also the purpose of the existence of the Evil Eye Tower. And the powerful black tide did not need any auxiliary tools. It itself was the most powerful energy-devouring converter. Knowing the reason, Qi Sheng began to pay attention to the players' actions in robbing the spiritual ore. After 25 hours of continuous plundering, the Earth-thought evil spirit had already noticed the players' actions, controlling even more black tide power to escort the spiritual ore. The difficulty of robbing the spiritual ore consequently surged, and this was also the reason why the major guilds chose to join forces. One could see the ground at the foot of the volcano pockmarked with dozens of pits of varying sizes, all recently excavated by the evil life, aiming for the spiritual or resources underground. Whenever the evil life transported out a batch of spirit stones from pits, players would push forward in that direction, trying to plunder some spiritual ore. With more and more black fog gathering, the pressure on the player core increased dramatically, and the death toll kept rising. During this period, the regional voice channel was extremely lively. "Brothers, I can't hold on any longer. I'm going to sulk alone in the little black room for an hour. See you when I'm out of sulking. Can any friend nearby send me a healing potion? I can fight again, and I'm so close to leveling up. It's uncomfortable not to level up." The clone fireball stream is truly fierce, but aside from the high consumption issue that needs continuous potion drinking to replenish spiritual power, it's definitely the strongest faction for team battles in this version. I was so thrilled. If it wasn't for you frontliners collapsing, I would completely have the ability to fight on. It's all your fault for holding me back. It's about to end. Our guild robbed a lot of spirit, or just waiting for sulking to end and share the loot. Haha. Brothers nearby, back off before I die. I want to pull a self-destruct and kill a batch of evil spirits. Just as this round of plundering was about to die down, and Qi Sheng was preparing to shift his gaze to another player's perspective, an unexpected change occurred. Suddenly, a huge black vortex appeared in the sky, with countless fine black cracks emerging at its edges, and the churning clouds were instantly shattered by an invisible force, warping the nearby space. Countless dark, golden humanoid shadows rained down from the spatial vortex. Qi Sheng zoomed in his gaze and found that these dark gold figures were all mechanical life forms. The moment they landed, the mechanical soldiers began to sweep the nearby area ruthlessly, with players also being their attack targets. These mechanical soldiers wielded both close combat beam swords and long-range energy cannons. Their arms could be reconfigured to swap into different weapon forms. Against these groups of mechanical beings, neither the players nor the evil life had any chance of winning. The sudden appearance of mechanical soldiers caused the already crumbling player core to lose all their resistance capabilities. Meanwhile, within the regional voice channel, there was non-stop cursing, where players used elegant linguistic art to express their dissatisfaction with mechanical soldiers, and some questioned the identity of this sudden arrival of mechanical soldiers. The fight lasted less than a minute, and the originally chaotic scene was swept clean. All players and evil spirits vanished. This spectacle obviously frightened the Earth-thought evil spirit that was controlling the direction of the black tide from behind the scenes, with the distant black fog no longer approaching, instead beginning to retreat. And the sudden arrival of mechanical soldiers also sparked Qi Sheng's curiosity. Guidance, analyze. Understood. Information immediately flooded Qi Sheng's mind. Iron Soul, hunting level, 83. Target introduction, living metal warriors, the pinnacle of technology and biological engineering. The mechanical sovereign has perfectly fused the coldness of machinery with the tenacity of life, creating a new breed of warriors that possess flesh yet surpass machines, named Iron Soul. All Iron Soul warriors can grow in strength by devouring iron ore.